This one.
Yeah, that small knob. We'll move it closer or further away from you.
I was like, if I turn this, I'm smacking Kaylee in the face.
That's a great point.
Be like, hey, incoming. That's the term when you're sailing.
Oh no.
And then just tighten it. Tighten the other one. So Kaylee,
So,
tighten that one
could
really.
you tighten-
Crank it.
I don't have a good grip strength, so I'm a typical girl.
Typical
Weak.
girl.
Like,
Fragile.
Can you?
Oh yeah.
Can you
I'll take the challenge.
open jars?
No.
I was watching
I
some.
usually hand them off.
I don't know if it was some baking show or something like that. This like little clip went viral of this girl. She was trying to open this jar, and she just couldn't do it. And like she tried to do it with like some little towel and a grip, and then
no.
she ran over to her dad who was in the
Oh my
stands,
gosh, I
and
saw
he
that.
hands it up and he cranks it open and puts it down and she runs out.
I saw that
It was
clip.
great. Oh, it was so good.
That was good.
What her dad's for.
That's me.
That's me too. I can't open it. God, open it.
I'm like that annoying little determined girl. I'm like, I'm gonna open it.
I usually am, but
I
I
would break the
can't.
jar before
Yeah.
I give it to a man.
Actually, we had a thing of
I
I
have
forgot what was in
to
our fridge.
too.
Moonshine that my brother had brought. Like, it was like years ago though.
Whoa.
And I was like, I should probably dump this because it's been in here for way too long. I could not open it. We didn't have the grippy things, but I think like it was literally stuck from it. Probably like crystallized.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I was like, how can I get this open? I ran it under hot water.
Yeah.
And then I tried it, and I was like, yes, I got it.
It is a fun
Science.
challenge sometimes.
No, I just end up hurting myself.
Oh.
You don't risk it.
Nowadays, you're like, why do my wrists hurt so bad when I just try it once? You're like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Or I'll pull my neck or my shoulder or something, you know. The usual suspects. Just wait. You're only, what, 31?
Almost 32, yeah. We're getting old. All of us are getting old, guys.
All right, you're...
Come on, you work. It's like not. Yeah, it's not like an old competition to see whose aches and pains are worse.
It is for me.
It is
Everything's a
kind of, yeah.
competition, and you are the
Yeah.
same. So shut up.
My ankle hurts really bad this morning.
Actually, I don't want to know yet.
Just stretch. It helps.
I know. I gotta.
No, I know. I
I
was
do yoga or
doing
something like that.
Honestly, it's like
I've heard it's revolutionary.
Especially for guys, because you guys are usually a lot.
I like being stiff. I don't
Yeah.
believe in yoga.
Like me.
I wasn't gonna say the word because I was like, that's gonna sound weird.
And we're recording, everyone. What's up, everyone?
Wait, seriously?
Oh yeah. Okay, darn right. I told you guys we were going live. Come on.
No, you didn't. You
You guys
said,
ready?
"Okay, you
We're
ready?"
going.
You did say it.
Usually when I say you're
It's
you
fine.
ready, like 2 minutes ago.
Usually you
So
say
you
we're
ready?
live. I didn't know you're
Sorry.
like. Oh, it's
snuck
fine.
that
I
in.
don't care.
he's like, they're not fully paying attention.
He really
Let's just
wants
go."
us to be relatable.
This is the goal of the podcast. When someone watches live, they get this content. I feel like this
Yeah.
is fun stuff, you know?
You've been
Normal.
recording since we sat down. Don't
Yeah.
lie to us.
Oh boy.
I was recording on Audition right there, but not on YouTube, so we're good.
So yes,
There's a lot in these chapters too.
So much.
Yeah.
you got your notes, Danny.
Of course.
Yeah. Who am I talking to?
I'm actually, I don't know, I'm kind of tempted to skip any kind of intro and just go into the podcast because I have like 10 to 12 questions per chapter. And I feel like the chapters are so
10
dense.
to 12.
Usually I have
Good
like
thing I
around
didn't
8.
say I could
All day
babysit.
affair.
So we're going to be here for another 4 hours.
Oh boy.
And then when you find something that's a gem, you can
Yeah,
slip
yeah,
it in
I'll
the
slip
middle
it.
or at the
how
front.
cool are the pictures?
Might take a nap in between.
Yeah, we'll have like halftime. We'll go take a nap.
Do
Yeah,
a
we'll
yoga
have
break.
a yoga class.
And Danny, you can watch.
Or Pilates. So it's not.
As
What?
always, anybody
yoga?
watching on the
Yeah, yeah.
stream, whatever questions you guys have, just throw it in the chat, and I'll ask. The
Just
group
make
here.
sure it's not when I'm talking because he gets distracted then. So we can hold off. When Danny's talking.
Yeah, then
When
send
Danny's
them on
talking,
in.
Send
inundate
them.
the chat with questions so
Yep.
I can not pay attention to Danny. When Jen does, I'm gonna just say Keegan.
No, he's
What do
going to
you
stare at me and I'm going to go
Oh
blank.
gosh.
That's
Pressure's
so
on.
crazy. The professor.
Yes,
Ay, ay,
don't
ay.
be super loud at that, all right?
He's like,
Okay.
fine, Dad.
That is the
perfect
cutest. And now he's like slowly putting it down. Like
He's like, don't embarrass me in front of my friends.
I know. Dad, come on.
That was cute.
All right, let's honestly just skip over some of the intro. If I find a good intro later, we can do it. But we're just going to go straight into the podcast. So welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
Jen.
Danny.
And Kristen.
This is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
I almost said I was Jen. I was like, Jen?
Who am I?
I just thought of that the other day.
Oh,
Jen.
every
That was
time that
so
I would be
good.
drinking or eating or...
Yeah.
Oh,
You
that
would
was...
just
Jen.
go, I'm Jen. Halfway through the podcast.
And
I'm
you would
Jen.
tell John to cut it at random
Yeah.
spots.
I forgot.
Just
Yeah,
crop
yeah.
it.
Crop it.
Crop
it.
it.
That's you
Crop
coined a lot of
it, yeah.
terms.
Hot tamale now.
I know. Hot Tamale Award is like a fan favorite. That's the best one we got.
Yeah, I like that.
And when I'm reading right now, I'm specifically reading in mind of thinking who the Hot Tamale Award is. I've changed my reading
There's
completely.
too many things.
You're welcome.
I can't keep up. I'm trying to like write the summaries. My brain doesn't work like that.
I just listen in the car. You guys are great. But yeah.
All right. Someone give me a summary of Chapter 22, St. Mungo's Hospital for Magical Maladies and Injuries.
I can too, but let me just find the end of my chapter.
Let's see. Harry and Ron go with McGonagall to Dumbledore's office. It's confirmed that Harry's dream was real. The Weasleys and Harry are sent to Sirius's house. Arthur is okay thanks to Harry relaying it. Oh gosh, I wrote a lot. Sorry. Arthur is okay thanks to Harry relaying it so quickly to get the help needed for Arthur. They all go to St. Mungo's to visit him, where they hear Mad Eye mention that Harry is being possessed by Voldemort.
Perfect summary.
Yeah.
We kind of left on a little bit of a cliffhanger last one. Harry has this dream, and McGonagall believes him, and he goes, "Get your stuff on. We're going to the headmaster." Wes. Hey, you're being a little loud, buddy.
He's like, give me another toy.
I know.
He was chewing on like Sirius Black before, so where is he?
Serious.
Sirius Black!
Right?
That's so cute. That makes me so happy. Imagine if he's an animagus.
Wes?
Yeah, that'd be sweet. That'd be actually really creepy.
Mm,
It's like Scabbers.
little
or
Scabbers
something.
scenario,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
All right, this chapter opens up. It goes, Professor McGonagall rapped 3 times with a Griffin knocker. Griffin knocker. We've mentioned that before.
Oak
Trivia.
door.
It's going to be a
Nice.
trivia question. Whenever we go to a trivia night, they're going to be like, what is the knocker on Dumbledore's office door? And voices ceased abruptly, as though someone had switched them all off. The door opened of its own accord, and Professor McGonagall led Harry and Ron inside. So who's he talking to? It mentions this later in the chapter.
His pictures, portraits, the headmasters.
And what's he talking? We don't know this, but what's he talking to them about? What do you think? Because as soon as the door opens, all the voices cease
They're
talking.
probably talking about him, Harry. And they're probably talking about... Oh, but he didn't know that yet. It's probably order stuff.
Maybe, yeah.
Go out. I didn't realize that they could leave their portraits to other portraits. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So that's probably... I
Weird.
feel like that's what they were talking about. Like sending whatever the next mission was.
Yeah.
All right, you're going to go to that one, figure out that. You're going to go to this one. What's the Slytherin guy's name? Headmaster? Is he
Phineas
related?
Nigellus.
He's not related to the Black.
He is a
Yeah,
Black.
he is. He's his
Oh,
great-great-grandpa.
That's why he's in the house. Got
Yeah.
it.
He's the headmaster in Hogwarts Legacy.
the least
Oh, really?
liked
The
headmaster.
least liked headmaster, I think, of all time.
Yeah, because he's Slytherin.
Yeah.
Well, not because of that. Well,
I love when he was like annoyed that he was having to do his duty and all the other portraits
I
jumped down his throat.
know.
Like,
mhm.
it's your duty to this school.
You must.
You little
But I
jerk.
don't understand, though, because they're dead but not.
Yeah,
It's their personality in a portrait that can move.
kind of. It's not their full representation, obviously. But these portraits are a little bit more sentient than other portraits because the headmaster is encouraged to spend time with their portrait every single day. So I'm sure like Dumbledore spends like 10 minutes with... They already painted his portrait. Maybe like he spends 10 minutes with them, getting to know him. So they're a bit more intelligent than other portraits.
Right, right. And the fact that there are multiple and they can jump between is a little weird, but it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And does that mean, well, I don't really know, but is it the same person jumping between? Or if this person jumps to their other portrait, are there 2 of them in that portrait? Like, do they have to swap, or is it only one being that has to jump between all of the portraits of
Sound
themselves?
like it was one. Well, because in Sirius Black, he said it was always an empty portrait. And then
Mhm.
he's like, oh, whatever his name is, I
Yeah.
can't remember, is now in the portrait. No, you don't remember that?
No, I
in
do.
Harry's.
I think you're right. So you're saying one person
Really loud at that point.
in all
It's
portraits.
weird, though, because all these portraits would be empty then.
Right. Maybe
So
they
it
have
is
some
weird.
stand-ins. Because, yeah, like if you paint another portrait of someone, it's got to be something there, right? Well, I'm just thinking, does that add to the sentience of something? If there are multiple portraits of the same person, that kind of substantiates their personality in a weird way. It's like forming more of them.
But what I'm thinking is also maybe they have one portrait and family members in certain schools that they were a big part, a part of. Okay, you're gonna have these empty frames so that way he can go and come as he pleases.
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying? Multiple people, or you're saying a singular person?
No, I don't know which one it is. I'm just curious,
'Cause
but I don't
while
know
you
if
were
we had
talking,
enough
I was
info.
thinking
You
of
were
my
thinking, no.
rebuttal.
Rebuttal. We're already arguing. Excellent.
So it was half listening.
It's yeah. It's probably one, like, I'm sure if they paint them differently that they couldn't show up wearing the same clothes or something like that, but it seems to be one person who has to go between two
jumps.
paintings. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Jen seems to be right in this scenario.
Nice. Well done.
No,
But
you're just
maybe-
playing devil's
maybe it's-
advocate.
Yeah, no, that's never like completely clarified. Maybe in stuff that she's written after it's been clarified, but
I'm imagining Dumbledore was asking all of the other headmasters what to do about this situation. Like, hey, have you ever seen this before? I'm kind of assuming he already knew about the dreams, or he knew a certain amount at least. And I'm assuming he was picking their brains and just asking questions of like, over the hundreds or thousands of years represented in these headmaster portraits, like, what can you guys tell me? Have you ever experienced this? Did you see this? Because some of these portraits not only were around for their original masters, but they're getting to witness all the headmasters of Hogwarts since then. So they would have seen an awful lot.
there's a lot
Knowledge.
of wisdom. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Yeah, that makes more sense.
So if
Yeah.
he's asking them like about dreams or weird ancient magic things or connections between people, I don't know. Maybe they would be the people he's picking their brain.
There's a strange. I don't know. How did you guys feel? Did you feel like Dumbledore was in just absolute complete control in this situation again?
Did I?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It felt like every moment felt pretty. Not absolute
Well, he
control.
already-
90%.
Had a port key, too.
Curveball.
How
How's
does
that
that-
allowed?
What?
He's the headmaster.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, but
you
don't you have
can't
to do a
apparate or
spell or something?
disapparate. But you can port key now.
Yes, that's the thing. You cannot apparate or disapparate.
So the port key in my mind, I thought it was in the same realm as apparition and disapparation, but it's not. It's something different. So now I'm like, well, is Hogwarts really that safe? Because someone else could do a reverse port key, or
Maybe you can't come back in because they couldn't come back through the port key.
maybe. But yeah, but some port keys go both ways, right? Like the ones for the
I'm wondering if it's
World Cup.
blocked.
Maybe. I can only hope.
But I'm thinking of the one that he made could have been both ways. Dumbledore could have made a port key go
Yeah.
both ways. but
Or
they-
someone with bad intentions could. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
No, I know, but I thought, to me, Hogwarts is like sealed off. Like you wouldn't be able to do that.
but Dumbledore can.
Out.
Only out, not back.
in.
Maybe. But for apparition, it feels like it was both ways. Just cut
Well,
off.
that's
Can't be done.
apparition. Porky and apparition are completely
So you're saying
different.
totally different forms of
Yeah.
magic.
Yep.
I know, in
So-
my mind, it's similar.
Right. So I'm just wondering if that's a whole, because now we know two flaws. Portraits can go in and out without regulation. Flu powder, maybe you can't go into Hogwarts with it, but you can at least communicate through the flu network, so that's something. And then port keys. So I used to think of Hogwarts as much more cut off from the world, and the only way in was the ancient way of carrying a physical letter in. That's why we have owls. But now I'm like, ooh, there's actually a few ways in and out of this place. So we'll see.
Do you think that a portrait is a way in? Do you think you could climb in a portrait and like?
I
Get
think I
into
mentioned
Hogwarts?
in a previous episode at some point that I think that'd be so fascinating and cool, like Super Mario 64 jumping into paintings. But I kind of don't think so. I can't imagine that being possible.
Do you think?
I don't know.
Do you ever think Voldemort is going to send people to Hogwarts specifically, and how would they get in? Because if they're just walking in, I don't think they would be able to get in. They can't apparate in, as Hermione has reminded them countless
times. Yeah.
I'm sure they probably couldn't get a port key in because Dumbledore probably has that under locks. Dolores Umbridge has the Flute Network under locks.
Yeah.
How would they get in if they ever got in?
Dolores Umbridge has the Flute Network, but if she or the Ministry lets people in with the Flute Network, we've never seen someone use the Flute powder to get in and the Flute Network, but at least communicate. So in my mind, that means you could also use the Flute Network to get in. I'm not sure.
I mean, he was on a professor's head, so he got in pretty easily.
Yeah, he rode on someone's back. But I feel like the classic just walking there would work, you know? You just kind of take the train or
They
you
could
fly
do
in a
your
carriage.
favorite thing. The Polyjuice Potion become a kid version and just
Yep.
walk right in. I'm a new
All the first
student.
years are Death Eaters.
Oh my gosh.
What an entrance that would be.
Hagrid's
oh my
leading them
gosh.
across the lake, and they're on these little boats.
And they all see
then,
those little horses. They
all see them. Nice.
Thestrals, yeah.
Thestrals, yeah.
I knew it was. Yeah.
Hmm.
I can't for the life of me remember any words names.
No, you got so many of
You
them.
were very good with this.
Thanks, guys. So encouraging. Is it tripping?
One of the next lines is, "How did you see this?"
Yeah.
Dumbledore asked quietly, still not looking at Harry. "Well, I don't know," said Harry rather angrily. "What did it matter?" "Inside my head, I suppose." "You misunderstand me," said Dumbledore, still in the same calm tone. "I mean, can you remember where were you positioned as you watched this attack happen? Were you perhaps standing beside the victim, or else looking down on the scene from above?" This was such a curious question that Harry gave to Dumbledore. It was almost as though he knew. What does Dumbledore know? And just beyond the fact that he knows that Harry was the snake, or was looking at it through the perspective of the snake. Why is that such a significant thing?
I'm not sure. Like, in my mind, this would be the difference between whether he's a seer or whether he's connected. If you're seeing from the perspective of the snake, or in his other dream from the perspective of Frank, the beginning of the last book, that is like maybe what Dumbledore knows is a connection between people. But if he was seeing a vision, something from an external perspective, a third party, then maybe that'd be more like a seer, like something that didn't happen yet but could happen. And maybe Dumbledore is kind of trying to determine that. When you read it, what did it feel like? Or do you already know the answer to this?
Brain wandered, and I have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, nice.
No, I think
Where'd you go? Anywhere fun?
She had a vision. She was crawling through a corridor.
Whoa, yeah. Did you have a vision?
just attack someone?
Oh my
From
gosh.
whose perspective did you see it?
the unicorn's perspective. That would be mine.
Oh man.
Sorry
call
to
me
call
out.
you out,
I was intently looking at you. I was not listening.
but you were
Sorry.
somewhere else. Totally cool. Jen, what about you?
I was
Oh,
thinking
man.
that. Well, you kind of said it, I guess, but I was thinking Dumbledore's either like, okay, how is he connected to Voldemort now? Is he actually connected, or is it just like a premonition or like a seer aspect too? So I think I was on the same.
Did Dumbledore know all of this was happening beforehand, or does he just have a really good read on what's happening currently at Hogwarts? So he had 10 minutes warning when this happened in the Gryffindor area, not the common room, the bedrooms, I guess. And he had 10 minutes to quickly pick the brains of all these old professors. And he's like, all right, guys, this
Like,
just
he
happened.
always seems to know things like a little bit ahead of time. That's what I was.
But I'm just wondering if it was really ahead of time, or he just watched it happen with Harry and McGonagall, knew they were coming to the
He's
office.
watching Harry all the time.
Not in a creepy way, but yeah.
I think I said that podcast.
Or
to
maybe
go
not
to.
like, not just Harry, but like just keeping an eye on the school. Same way Umbridge seems to kind of know what's going on when students are out of bed, whatever. I imagine Dumbledore has that, but like even better. Like he's very in tune with what's going on in the school. So he saw this all happen with Harry. And maybe already told McGonagall to be in the area or something. I don't know.
And maybe that's why he's having this whole discussion with all
Right,
the-
like it all happened right then. I'm thinking Dumbledore always appears calm, and as we learn in 2 chapters, there's like a reason to be calm and in control of your mind and all that. So like I'm thinking he saw this happen with Harry as it was happening and said, "Oh, whoa. All right, portraits, wake up. Have you ever seen this? What does this mean?" And they're saying things like, "Well, you got to figure out whose perspective it's from. And then here's what you'd have to do to
already.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he would.
I feel like he would.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because this feels like the kind of thing that I'm like, when's the last time this has happened?
Yeah, but
Has
he
it?
already knew about the. Remember when Voldemort and him had the battle with their wands and the ancient magic, and he was like, I guess from that point on, I'm like, oh, he knows like these little things that are going on from ancient magic, let's
Like
say, or
connections
something.
between people
like
and-
Voldemort
yeah,
and
yeah.
Harry, yeah. So to me, I'm like, he's just tapping into like that knowledge that he knows.
It does
And-
feel like he was surprised at the end of this conversation, where he was like, what did he say? He was like, I forget how Harry described it, but it felt like Dumbledore had to react. It wasn't just like he knew what to do. Dumbledore like calmly thought for a second and then moved with like surprising quickness. So
But he maybe because he didn't know it was Mr. Weasley.
yeah,
maybe he was realizing, oh, Mr. Weasley is doing X, Y, and Z, protecting the weapon. We need to move fast.
Yeah.
Or
So he didn't
maybe
know.
he was like, I really hope he's not attached to Voldemort in some way. And when he said the snake, he was like thinking, okay, what do we have to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because there is this other line. I want to read this. It's going to be in a long paragraph, but this is people had theories on this when the books first came out, and they talked about it for years until you kind of figure out what it's talking about. It says the instrument tinkled into life at once with a rhythmic clinking noise. Tiny puffs of pale green smoke issued from the minuscule silver tube at the top. Dumbledore watched the green smoke closely. Or just watched the smoke closely. His brow furrowed. After a few seconds, the tiny puffs became a steady stream of smoke that thickened and coiled in the air. A serpent's head grew out of the end of it, opening its mouth wide. Harry wondered whether the instrument was confirming his story. He looked eagerly at Dumbledore for a sign that he was right, but Dumbledore did not look up. Naturally, murmured Dumbledore apparently to himself, still observing the stream of smoke without the slightest sign of surprise. But in essence divided? Harry could make neither heads nor tails of this question. The smoke serpent, however, split itself instantly into two snakes, both coiling and undulating in the dark air. With a look of grim satisfaction, Dumbledore gave the instrument another gentle tap with his wand. The clinking noises slowed and died, and the smoke serpent grew faint, became a formless haze, and vanished. What is he talking about in essence divided? And what was the answer to his question? What is happening here? Because Jen's talking about the connection that they share. What exactly is this connection?
It seems like they're the same person.
Oh, it's snowing, guys.
Whoa,
Such
nice.
a little Hogwarts. It's like we're in Hogsmeade.
We're at Christmas time.
Where's my
Excellent
butter
timing.
beer?
I got some tea in the cupboard over there.
Not exactly the same.
I got some new flavors of tea for you guys. I got some
Ooh,
good
yeah.
stash tea. Good
Nice.
herbal tea.
It was too early for
Thanks.
it, but I got a beer yesterday called Nimbus 2000.
Oh,
So
real?
next time
Yes.
we record in the evening.
9 a.m.
Yeah.
It's not
And
well.
we're drunks on this podcast.
It's the weekend.
There is a Harry Potter podcast called Harry Potter and the Half Drunk podcast, I think. Then they all get half drunk and record.
How do you get half drunk?
I know. It's a great question.
Yeah.
When do you know the halfway point?
Well, it keeps expanding. I'm sure your
Yeah,
tolerance
yeah.
keeps going up.
A bigger half.
Essence divided. It kind of feels like, which I don't know how that's possible, like the same person. Haven't you brought up that theory that like Harry, or was it me? Harry and Voldemort are like kind of like the same, or was
I don't know what you mean by
Dumbledore?
same.
person?
Like literally
In
the same.
future and past. I
Like
have no
Harry
idea.
becomes full evil and then
No,
like
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't believe him, but
maybe I've thrown that theory out there. Sounds like something I would say, but
I also
it's
think
not
that.
headcanon for me.
But I think also it could be like when Voldemort used his power and it like backfired. Some of it is in Harry, so like his essence is divided. Like now Voldemort's powers or some part of him is in Harry. So his full power his split in a way. So I wonder now too, is Voldemort as powerful as he was before he striked Harry to kill him? Because I'm thinking Harry has some of his power, so now his essence is divided. And now Voldemort actually is weaker now, even at his full strength, like he's risen or whatever you want to call it. But I feel like,
So the smoke serpent represents Voldemort.
yes.
It does feel that way.
But
In essence, divided. 2 snakes. I was thinking a 2-headed snake, but 2 snakes. Like Harry's one of them. Oof. That's kind of.
But Harry is not actually one of them. It's Voldemort's power or like essence
Is split.
split.
And Harry has some of it. Yeah.
That's what
Hmm.
I'm saying.
Green smoke. Like the green light in the Potter's place. Like the green eyes Harry has. Yeah, I don't know.
Are Harry's eyes green because of?
I was wondering. I was
Curse?
thinking they were blue before that and then turned
They went
green.
green?
Yeah, but we don't know.
Do they
Wait,
turn
wait.
red
But
when
Hagrid said
he's-
you have your mother's eyes.
Yeah.
Shape or color?
That's usually
we'll
color.
find out.
There you go.
When does anyone say you have your mother's eyes and it's their shape?
I feel like kind of often.
That is such BS. No
Yeah.
way.
Like, well, at least just for me, if I'm talking about eyes, it would more be the shape of the upper face rather than the color of someone's eyes.
So it's
Because
not actually the eyes.
yeah,
The
it's
upper face.
Everything around the
oh
eyes.
yeah, you're orbital.
Your mother's forehead.
You have your mom's eyelids. Like
I feel like it's just saying nose
Your mother's
up. You know what I
eyelashes.
mean? Because I just don't know colors of eyes really.
Are you colorblind?
I can see the
Oh, okay.
colors. I just don't think about them. You know?
I love
not something
eyes,
that- me
and
too.
I like will
See me, I'm like, I
remember
love it.
people's
Yeah.
eyes color.
Yeah. Yeah. To clarify the color,
Color,
So-
right?
not like the shape and dimensions of them.
But he's a math guy, so maybe he's measuring them while you're talking to him. And then he goes to your parents and it's like, yeah, you have your mother's eyes. 2 by 4 by 3.
The exact measurements.
Those are some weird eyes. I don't even know.
Shut up. You know what I mean.
They're lopsided triangle eyes.
That is so
I
funny.
actually don't.
I don't know.
2 by 4 by 3.
Yeah, so many dimensions to these eyes.
That's a good ethnicity. I don't know.
I was trying to
I don't even know which way it is. So, like length, width, and diameter. I mean,
like, are you measuring like
depth.
this way?
Exactly.
Yeah, they stick out
We've got
like
this way. we
so
got this way.
far.
Like, how far in do they go?
Balls a lot. 2 inches, in fact.
I was centimeters. That's what I work and
Centimeters.
I do that at work all day.
centimeters.
Tiny eyes.
All right, no matter what I'm losing, I'm shutting up.
Yeah, keep going.
We derailed
I
real
love
quick.
that so
Yeah.
much.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Wait, it's usually length, width, and then depth.
Yeah, but eyes are spherical. So
Circumference, diameter.
we don't need to get like way into
I'm talking about the front. Where you can see.
man.
You could be. You could have it 2 by
This is why
2.
we pay attention to color.
Yeah. It's probably the green of the color. We'll just stick with that.
Yeah, Lily might have green eyes. That's what we're kind of saying.
That's what you get when you're trying to say that.
Yeah.
So you think in essence
boy.
divided means Voldemort has kind of lost
Oh my
his powers.
gosh, we
His
went.
power is kind of splitting off. Do you think it could mean anything else?
Sure. I don't know what. Danny, you have to have a different idea. No.
No, I think that's my primary thought. I'm just trying to think if it could be anything else with Nagini or some other like Voldemort thing, but I can't really put my finger on anything. It seems like Harry is the most likely explanation. And if that's true and if Voldemort knows that, he'll have to win Harry over or kill Harry to take his power back or something.
Hmm.
Because Voldemort doesn't want to be less powerful. So I feel like that either... No, it definitely does not make Harry any safer. But there's a chance Voldemort would try and win him over or Imperious him to try and like hold on to that power so they could work together. Nah, that doesn't seem like the Voldemort way.
Yeah. No.
But could he get his power back? Could he reverse that, or is it Dunzo?
I feel like if he kills Harry,
Is that how it goes? You kill
that's
someone, you
what
take
I
their power?
think. Well, for
Maybe.
Voldemort, I don't know.
He's killed a lot of wizards. I mean, so we had speculated at some point that's how he was like collecting power at the beginning. His rise to power was killing other
oh
powerful
yeah, we did
wizards.
say that, right? Yeah.
That's
So, yeah, you might know
Doctor
how.
Strange stuff. You
Mm.
guys? I don't know if you have you
Nope.
seen the What If series?
What if?
It's like a small little Marvel series. Not a ton of people watched. It was an animated one, and there's one where the question was, what if Doctor Strange, rather than losing his hands, broke his heart? He was so in love with his like doctor girlfriend that when she died, he went into a mad spiral. And he has this one moment where he absorbs every creature in like the universe's powers by defeating them, and he just keeps growing, and he becomes like hideous and ugly.
Whoa.
And she doesn't want him at that point. So it's a really good episode actually. But is Voldemort like that? Is he absorbing the powers? Is that why he's snake-like? Is that why he's kind of ugly? I mean, in the movies he's kind of sexy.
Well, respect.
Those are
Still
your
one of my
words.
favorite moments in the entire podcast. And Jen's like, he's kind of, or no, you said it about
Watching
the Beauxbaton students. I think you're like, they're kind of
The
sexy.
Beauxbatons? I don't. Who are?
I forgot what it was exactly.
Who are the
but
Beauxbatons? I forgot.
The other
from-
school, yeah, from
Yeah,
Florida
okay,
school.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was so
No, that
funny.
was not me. That was Mel. The Beauxbatons. She said there, but Voldemort was that was
Yeah, Voldemort was sexy.
Yeah, that
to
was
you.
definitely.
yeah, because he's good looking.
Yeah, I know.
He's like
Is he
comes
absorbing
out
the powers
of
of other people though?
yeah, maybe.
I kind of
And-
think so. Yeah.
How else would you gain power? Like, how
Yeah.
else do you become like the strongest?
I mean, so who in your mind is stronger, Dumbledore or Voldemort?
But then that's what I'm wondering too, because if Voldemort gains power by killing people, how did Dumbledore get his power? He's not killing people.
Oh, he's killed people,
Hmm.
including Gimmelwald. Grindelwald.
He actually has not killed him.
Oh my goodness.
So
But he defeated him.
yeah, he defeated him.
And that's one of the things we don't fully understand about like wands too. Like if you defeat another wizard with your wand, how does that actually work? If the
Maybe
wand gains
that's
the
what it
power,
is.
we were speculating with like
Instead of
Harry's.
killing?
Because I maybe it's because I'm like a math guy. I want to like have a tangible thing. Like what is this power? Is it just like an intangible essence of someone? Or is it like the wand becomes more powerful? It's like this is a not quite a measurable thing, but like Voldemort's wand has the power. Or is it in his essence? And when he attacked Harry, some of his very essence went into Harry. I don't know.
Well, because Harry didn't have a wand when he was one or
Yeah,
a baby.
right. He didn't even need it. He was Wagadoo. I don't know. Yeah, but how did Dumbledore get his power? Because maybe there's a right and a wrong way to gain power, and the right way is slow and steady, taking your time, learning, studying, practicing in other ways. But Voldemort's trying to take a shortcut to power
Maybe.
by killing people or something.
Yeah, I could see that.
And maybe that's his weakness.
That's the Slytherin thing. It's caring only about yourself, right?
yeah.
Selfish. And Dumbledore might be practicing to help others, so maybe
Hmm.
you get stronger that way. Kind of like Hermione. I feel like she's one of the strongest in her class or school, and she's constantly reading, studying.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, that is interesting. Like, you could steal power from someone, you could kill them, but if you teach other people, you're giving them power, but not your own. You both grow stronger in the process. Because then as headmaster, he's getting big. He's getting buff.
He's doing workouts.
Getting shredded.
That's why all the portraits he was benching all the portraits. cheering him
Yeah.
on. Let's go, get it up. Dumbledore pops it up as soon as Harry walks in the door. He vanishes it with his wand real quick.
Dumbbell door.
Yeah, Dumbledore.
Oh my
said that one?
gosh.
We have some wild theories here on this podcast.
Oh, wow.
Here's another line because I want to talk about Dumbledore even more. This is kind of like the control that he has over the situation. But he goes, "Your father has been injured in the course of his work for the Order of the Phoenix," said Dumbledore. And as a very quick side note to this, J.K. Rowling, people in chat really want me to tell this to you guys because it's such a crazy fact. J.K. Rowling, like Arthur survives, right? So he doesn't die. J.K. Rowling was going to kill him off this chapter.
That's what I thought he was going to.
But I think she was writing that and
Whoa.
she like couldn't. I think she was like so torn about it that she was just stuck and she was like, I cannot kill this guy off.
Because I love him so
Not
much.
yet.
Yeah. So she
That's
can't-
what
she
I
can't-
said, though.
Dun dun dun. Well, you don't think he was the first to rise from the table. So.
I don't think so.
Molly's-
Although if she was
Molly's
going
a
to kill him
goner.
here, maybe when she wrote this, he was first to rise from the table,
Mm.
and she wrote it distinctly and then had to go back and change it.
That's why
I
it's a
just
little
can't believe you're still tracking that.
Can't help it. Got to hold on to whatever we can, you know?
But this is the line. Your father has been injured in the course of his work for the Order of the Phoenix, said Dumbledore, before Harry could speak. He has been taken to St. Mungo's Hospital for magical maladies and injuries. I am sending you back to Sirius's house, which is much more convenient for the hospital than the Burrow. You will meet your mother there. How are we going? Asked Fred, looking shaken. Flu powder? No, said Dumbledore. Flu powder is not safe at the moment. The Flu Network is being watched. You will be taking a port key. He indicated an old kettle lying innocently on his desk. We are just waiting for Phineas Nigellus to report back. I want to be sure that the coast is clear before sending you. There was a flash of flame in the middle of the office floor, leaving behind a single golden feather that floated gently to the air. It's Fawkes's warning, said Dumbledore, catching the feather as it fell. Professor Umbridge must know you're out of your beds. Minerva, go and head her off. Tell her any story. I feel like it's so intense. Are you nervous how intense Dumbledore is in this moment?
Mhm.
That kind of scares you.
This was new intensity.
Yeah. Do you still feel like he has complete control on it? Why? Like, what is Dumbledore's? How would you? What's like a few words that you would say to describe his personality in this section? So he said he's in control. What else?
Intentional.
Hmm?
Like everything he's speaking, he's already thought it through, it seems. He's calm.
Yeah, he's
One,
also like
two,
fast.
three. I'm like, I said a few words. I'm gonna wait.
Wait, what did you say, Jen?
No, I was just thinking like he's like quick to think or like fast moving in this part when
Yeah.
he's usually like
Yes.
slower. Which you already said that, but
But I love all his like he is just quick to action here. I love how he does things. And
but
I mean
he's
you
also
guys
not like stressed rushing. It's
Yeah.
like a calm,
Mm-hmm.
quickly move,
yeah,
calculated.
calculated is a great word for that. He just seems very and it's like almost sad too. He almost seems cold because he's just not looking at Harry. Why does he just not look at Harry at all through this?
We get a little glimpse at the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't fully understand it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that was crazy at the end of this chapter when he's like, I wanted to kill him or I
Mhm.
wanted to
Mhm.
hurt him.
Yep.
By just looking at him for a second. So like the connection there to
Mm.
because he must know that Voldemort has some because of everything that's going on. Dumbledore he's known from the beginning though. He didn't know what their connection was after after Harry came back. When did he stop looking at Harry?
It was this book.
I
So
know,
it was
so, like,
after
what-
everything.
So like
Oh, yeah,
Harry
you're
went
right.
home to the Dursleys.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't but Dumbledore was talking to him and saw him at the end
Mhm.
of the last book.
Yeah.
Harry goes home, comes I'm already
Isn't that the
Well,
trials that he
The
would've
trial,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and he meets him at the trial, but then that's when he started.
Mm-hmm.
But once he started, I wonder though, once he started the Order of the Phoenix, he doesn't want Voldemort to know anything that's going on. So once that was like in the works, he's like, I can't look at you, Harry.
I'm wondering why, though. Like, because
He had to know something was connected to him.
I guess, but
And
Harry's
now-
in the order with everyone else, looking at everyone else in the eyes. So what is it different about Dumbledore's eyes? Like, Harry can still stay at Grimmauld Place.
Because Dumbledore knows so much more. So even if
So was this about
He's
Voldemort
seen-
reading Dumbledore's mind through Harry?
That's what I think. Or
Like,
like,
you know,
some,
reading his mind. Snape would say, don't use those Muggle words, but
yeah.
We don't know the nuances. Of, like,
yeah,
Snape knows the
but I don't know
nuances.
the nuance.
But also, apparently, it affects Harry too. It like brings something out of Harry
Right.
now that Voldemort is like in full power.
Hmm.
I don't fully get it, but for some reason, it seems like since the Order started, he doesn't want to converse with Harry face to face.
Mhm.
When you
The order started at the end of the last book, and that's kind of where Dumbledore was starting to be cold. Like even he ordered Hermione and Ron to not give him information about
Right.
that stuff, so
But-
he was left in the dark.
Also, isn't he cold with everyone right now? Like, I'm trying to think. He's not
that's
really having a relationship with anyone. So I'm wondering if he's
In a
trying to
sense.
like keep his mind sealed in a way from
Is he practicing
others.
occlumency or something like that here?
maybe.
well,
You don't see him. He's not like hanging out at the house. He's
Yeah,
not
it's
really
true.
like sitting down. He's just like giving orders.
he did interact with Hermione afterwards in the next chapter, I think it was, when Hermione ends up at the Order of the Phoenix. But that's just interaction. That could be orders as well. Like I wonder if Dumbledore also is doing the mind reading, and like if you get so good at it, you almost automatically do it. Like he doesn't even mean to, but like when he looks in someone's eyes, he just like absorbs things from them. So maybe he didn't want to look Harry in the eye because he was afraid that then it would send Voldemort a signal. Like Voldemort would feel that and know that Dumbledore had done it. And he would say, whoa, what's going on here? I think Dumbledore just read my mind. How's that possible? And then it would give Voldemort the tools to understand, or like the little insight to know that he had the connection with
Or
Harry.
maybe it's stronger because he already figured out that Harry was in the snake with him.
He
at
did?
some point. Yeah, it says it somewhere.
Yeah, it says it. I mean, he kind of figures that out here. It happened in a fraction of a second, in the infinitesimal pause before Dumbledore said 3. Harry looked up at him. They were very close together. Dumbledore's clear blue gaze moved from the portkey to Harry's face. At once, Harry's scar burned white hot, as though the old wound had burst open again. And, unbidden, unwanted, but terrifyingly strong, there arose within Harry a hatred so powerful he felt for that instant he would like nothing better than to strike, to bite, to sink his fangs into the man before him. 3. And they are gone. So there's something here that it kind of explains that he wants to strike him. There's some kind of strange, like Dumbledore seems to understand what's going on because he's just not keeping an eye with him. So.
But then Dumbledore looked at him. So I'm curious why Dumbledore thought it was a good idea now. Like maybe just to give Harry that taste of like, I can't explain it to you, but like he'll look at him and then Harry will hopefully understand, although it seems like he still doesn't really.
Well, you want answers. You don't want just a feeling.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, it does seem like odd timing though to even look at Harry now. Like after all of this, why now? Is
He
like,
usually
cool?
chooses what he does, but then part of me is like, is it just an instinct? Like he's leaving, and I'm just gonna give it a last glance.
Maybe.
But he always like calculated.
He is very
Moves.
calculated.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting section. But they finally get back to the Grimmauld place. And the Weasleys have an intense debate with Sirius. Who do you side with in this debate? Would you rather, like, I mean, all of us, if someone that we love, they were hurt or in a hospital, we'd all want to go there immediately. But is Sirius right or are the Weasleys right here? Does it matter that they need to be secretive and, like, they need to have their story straight? Or should they just have gone
Yeah.
and hung out with their dad?
No. I think they had to follow suit of what Sirius was saying. Because that would look really weird. Like, all the kids show up and they didn't even alert the mom that he's in the hospital.
I didn't think that was such a big deal, to be honest. Like the clock that Mrs. Weasley has, for example. I mean, does that come in watch form? Then anyone would know. They're like, oh my goodness, something's going on. Let me go to the hospital and see. Like,
That's the only hospital.
it seems like it's the only one,
Yeah.
one we've heard mentioned, but I'm sure there are other places in other parts of the world. But
But
yeah,
even if
I didn't think that was a big deal.
I don't know. I feel like to me it's like, okay, you're going to the hospital and what, to wait and sit, because like usually if there's an emergency you're not going to see that person for like hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what's the point of going?
Yeah, you just go and wait.
Things are
just-
more
yeah.
expedited in the
I know.
wizarding world.
It is weird because we always rush to the hospital and then we just have to sit and wait at the hospital. But I guess we have information there, so it kind of
Mm.
It's
sucks.
just knowing that you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, feeling
it's
close
some kind
by instead of
Yeah.
like helpless somewhere else.
Is it a thing? How did Umbridge know that they were going to be out of their beds?
Yeah, that's a great
Is
question.
that a normal, like, every kid is tracked? Or is that an Umbridge thing?
And
I
if
don't
so,
know.
it means when she was down at Hagrid's, she already knew those kids weren't in their bed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like suspecting that they were down there.
Which also plays into the fact that I sided with Sirius, too. Like, they needed to kind of go
Yeah,
along
you're right.
with what was happening.
Maybe she tracks the door frame in and out of their bedroom.
Oh, man.
That is so creepy. Does she have a Marauders map or something like that?
I think the ministry does, yeah.
An Umbridge map.
Hmm.
It is crazy right now how
Hmm.
unique
The
Marauders
Toad
map
Road
is.
map.
Yeah, it's the
Toad
only
map.
thing we've seen like that. It's crazy.
It shows her every toad in.
Toad Road map.
Yeah.
Have to have some rhymes in there.
This is a crazy moment though. It goes, if Harry had ever sat through a longer night than this one, he could not remember it. Sirius suggested once without any real conviction
Yeah.
that they all go to bed. But the Weasleys' look of disgust were answers enough. They mostly sat in silence around the table, watching the candle wick sinking lower and lower into the liquid wax, occasionally raising a bottle to their lips, speaking only to check the time, to wonder aloud what was happening, and to reassure each other that if there was bad news, they would know straight away. For Mrs. Weasley must long since have arrived at St. Mungo's. Maybe this is too personal of a question, but have you ever had a moment like that where you're just sitting waiting for news and it's agony and you just can't do anything? Like, have you ever been in the Weasley's shoes here? You'd have to answer if that's too personal of a question.
I'm trying to think. I don't think ever
Yeah, but
quite
not
to this
like that,
extent.
yeah.
No. Not in a life or death moments. Like post surgery for family members, waiting to
yeah.
hear results. But it's usually like there's an expected result. In the situations I'm thinking of, like with my grandparents, it's like expecting a result,
Yeah.
90% chance everything is going to go well, but it's still nerve wracking. So I can't imagine in a situation where you actually don't know. Oh my goodness.
I think of when in The Office, when Kevin Malone, he realizes that he doesn't have.
Oh,
and He's
yeah.
like, it came back. He's like, oh, came back negative. And Michael rips his
Yeah,
little Liv
yeah.
Sharma bracelet that he made, throws it on the ground, and he goes, well, apparently negative in the medical community means it is a good thing.
I don't know that reference, but sounds great.
Yeah.
I've had this moment. The only moment that I truly had it was when they cut off the growth on the side of my head for melanoma, and it was the 2 weeks. So they were going to call me that morning, and they said they were going to call me like late morning. So I remember waking up super early
worst.
and was just. I was like not stressing out about it the entire week. I was like, oh, whatever happens, happens. And then I woke up that morning just stressing. And I remember sitting there at my desk, couldn't do a thing of work. And I was just sitting waiting for this call, like staring at my phone. And then finally I got the call and they were like, it's melanoma. I couldn't talk. I couldn't breathe. I was just, it was the worst. It was so devastating. And then,
You were at work?
yeah, I was at work.
Oh
And
my
I was just
goodness.
sitting at my desk waiting for it.
And then what do you like to be alone, or you went to people?
I like to be alone. I processed it for like an hour by myself. I just like sat there, got myself together with my tears, and then I went home after that because I had to have a meeting and I canceled everything. Went home
Yeah.
because I couldn't function, and then I texted my family, and then they all were calling me and wanted to come visit and stuff like that. It was a rough one.
That's rough. I can only imagine.
Have you
Yeah.
guys ever had bad moments like that? Waiting for bad news? Some of them are too personal.
I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't waiting at hospital or anything, but when I was younger. I think I was in high school. Yeah, my cousin-in-law, they called all the family members saying that he was rushed to the hospital. So it was similar to that, and I was like, oh, he was young, he was 29. And I was like, what? He was rushed? He's like, yeah, he had some kind of like heart thing. And I was like, but he was fit. He was a gym teacher, football coach. Like you would never, like, he wasn't overweight at all. He took care of himself. And we're just waiting. And I was like, there's no way, like, it could be that serious. And he passed away. He had like a major heart attack at 29. Yeah. So I guess it was a little bit on that vein of like waiting, because I was just in disbelief. There's no way. Like,
Yeah, someone that young can do that, go through that.
yeah.
That's so sad.
And they were running like a St. Patrick's Day, like 3K, and he collapsed. I think that's what they said. He collapsed. They rushed him to the hospital. So then we're processing that, like, he's like so fit. He's not.
He was running a 5K. He's
Yeah.
fine. Man. When you get bad news, it sucks. But the Weasleys, they get good news here. And it kind of mentions that Fred fell back in his chair with his hands over his face. George and Ginny got up, walked swiftly over to their mother, and hugged her. Ron gave a very shaky laugh and downed the rest of his butterbeer in one. Breakfast, said Sirius loudly and joyfully, jumping to his feet. Where is that accursed house elf? Creature. But Creature did not answer the summons. Oh, forget it then, muttered Sirius, counting the people in front of him. So it's breakfast for, let's see, 7. Bacon and eggs, I think, and some tea and toast. And then it goes later. Harry is kind of in a conversation with Sirius, and he goes, "That's not all," said Harry, in a voice only a little above a whisper. "Sirius, I think I'm going mad." Back in Dumbledore's office, just before we took the portkey, for a couple of seconds there, I thought I was a snake. I felt like one. My scar really hurt when I looked at Dumbledore. Sirius, I wanted to attack him. He could only see a sliver of Sirius' face, and the rest was in darkness. It must have been the aftermath of a vision, that's all, said Sirius. You were just thinking of the dream, or whoever it was. And it wasn't that, said Harry, shaking his head. It was like something rose up inside me, like there's a snake inside me. What do you think is happening here? Is there legitimately a snake inside Harry?
In a sense, yes.
What do you mean? In
Well, because not in
divided.
essence divided. Yeah, it feels like, but I'm still thinking of it as being Voldemort is in another location. He is the bad news here, and he's just a small part of him is over in Harry. But this is making it feel like Harry himself is turning bad or something, or like, I don't know. It's a little weird, and I don't think it's all that. Unless we see this desire start to grow, this evilness. But Dumbledore doesn't seem worried about it in a larger sense. He's letting Harry hang out with all these people and be at the Order while things are being discussed and go to the hospital. So if Dumbledore's not worried about it, I'm not worried about it.
Dumbledore is like our litmus test for if we should be worried or not. If he's feeling all right, then we all feel all right.
Yep.
And it kind of goes like the lines in previous books. As long as Dumbledore's at the school, no one's in fear of being attacked or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're safe with Dumbledore. But there is the line at the very end of this chapter where Harry overhears this conversation and he goes, "Of course he's worried," growled Moody. "The boy's seeing things from inside you-know-who's snake. Obviously, Potter doesn't realize what that means. But if you-know-who's possessing him," then he takes the extendable ear out. Is this actually happening? Is you-know-who possessing Harry?
I don't think so. I don't think these people fully understand it. I think... What does possessing even mean? I don't know. To a certain degree. I think, like, he kind of is, like, I understand why they would say that, but it feels like they're kind of missing some of the nuance.
Just like Snape talks
Exactly,
about
to
it
borrow
once.
from Snape's phraseology. Yeah, it just feels like it's not that simple. And I don't think anyone really fully understands this. This is like very unique. So for them to just sum it up in possessing, yeah, they're talking about it. They need to like talk quickly. I get it. You can't like explain all the nuance. But I just feel bad for Harry because he's hearing that and that sounds worse than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Sirius really understands. I was kind of annoyed at Sirius in these chapters. He was like, okay, I liked when he was like feeling joyful or whatever. But it felt like he wasn't being gentle. When the kids came in and they're like, we want to go to the hospital, like he should have gotten to their level a little more and like understood that and tried to like empathize. But instead it felt like he was almost like, oh, just a little defensive. And then when him and Harry are talking, he leaves. Harry's alone then in the cupboard. I'm like, stay with him and like talk this out.
Yeah.
So for him to leave him there. So then by the time at the end, possession, Harry's just still feeling a little bit alone in the whole thing. He doesn't understand it. Nobody does. Except maybe Dumbledore.
Dumbledore won't look him in the eyes. So.
It sounds like even Voldemort doesn't understand it. So,
What do you mean?
well, it feels like only recently did Voldemort become aware of this happening. And even then, it feels like it was kind of like he deduced it, but hasn't like, I don't know. It's hard to tell what Voldemort is aware of with this, but I don't think this has happened to other people with Voldemort. So I guess I'm just kind of thinking, I don't know. This is uncharted territory.
Yeah.
You want another blanket? I got one right
If
here.
you want to crank the heat up too a little bit.
No, I
Right-
think
right
everyone
around your
else
head.
is probably fine. I'm just always cold.
I'm gonna put it up a little bit.
I didn't realize this was for decoration only. I was trying to get it off.
Yeah, don't touch that. It's my
I know.
decorative blanket. What though? So hold on, Jen. What are your theories? So is Voldemort actually possessing Harry? And why does Voldemort only seem to recently have understood this? Like, what is? I know I've asked this question thousands of times, but what really is this connection between the two of them?
Nobody knows. No, I think I've said before too. When you asked, it's like feels potentially maybe like the ancient magic that no one really is like aware of in this modern time. Like maybe Dumbledore is more in tune with the ancient magic. But what was your question though? What is their connection?
Yeah, what is actually the connection?
I still think it's just, I don't think Voldemort knew the extent of the connection until maybe the snake, maybe he felt someone else's presence there. I'm guessing Harry's, like, because he's very in tune with people's emotions and like seeing, hearing their thoughts or reading their minds. You asked something before and I had
Their
a
possession.
2-part question. What was so?
Why is Voldemort really possessing Harry?
Oh, yeah. So I don't think right now he is,
Mhm.
but later on in the chapters, I'm wondering if he's starting to.
Mm.
Because when Ginny starts explaining, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like I feel like that, and then I feel bad for Harry and he feels bad too. Like, why didn't you share this? Because Ginny was literally for like a year possessed by Voldemort.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
she was able to is this in that it's in
The
this
next one,
chapter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just the fact that she was like, I can't remember things like that I did. I come to, and I'm like, oh, it's been hours, and all of a sudden, what did I do? I don't know where I was, and
Wait, that happens to you? Sometimes
Yeah.
I was. You guys ever like drive down the road and like an hour later you're like, how the heck did I get here?
all the
Like,
time.
what?
It's like autopilot,
Yeah.
especially work. You're
Yeah.
like, yeah.
It's been 3 hours. How did I even get in the seat right now?
Where am I? I kind of feel like Harry's the one possessing Voldemort. That feels more likely to me.
What does that mean though?
Well, like, I think Harry is the one getting like visions of Voldemort. I don't think Voldemort's going to sleep and getting visions of Harry. I feel like it's more of a one-way thing, and if anything, it's Harry's blood in Voldemort to help form him back to what he was.
Oh, that's right.
So I think it's more likely that Harry is just the one not knowing how to do this. It's all new to him. He's never had his blood inside a Dark Lord before. So he's just figuring it out. And I think it's more likely that he's accidentally possessing Voldemort, not the other way around. And like Ginny said, it's like Harry's not being controlled. He's getting weird feelings. He doesn't know how to handle all this. But I kind of feel like that's more like what's going on
That
here.
is really interesting what you just said. I didn't think about that. Because I'm wondering, Voldemort, remember he was talking about ancient magic. He's like, I didn't even think about that. You know, when he was
Yes.
sharing with the Death Eater. So I'm wondering if this is another thing that he quickly came upon, this potion, without realizing the consequences of sharing blood, like having the blood of
Yeah.
this person. And then the connection that he already had with Harry, now maybe it's stronger. And like, I like that what you said, that maybe Harry is getting more feedback because it's his blood that helped rise him. And maybe that's why Voldemort didn't know that he could do this.
Yeah, and this kind of ancient magic stuff, like I keep saying, I don't think people really understand it. And so even in these situations, blood of the enemy, I don't think people are like, let me just get a little finger prick. I'm pretty sure they're killing their enemies to use their blood to bring people back from the dead. So like, I don't think there are a lot of situations like this
Where they stayed alive.
where the enemy then can hang around and read your mind for the rest of their lives.
He was planning on killing Harry.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think even if someone happened to understand the ancient magic, which we already know Voldemort doesn't fully, or at least didn't think it all the way through,
Got it.
this feels like a new kind of niche realm of the ancient magic where
No.
your enemy is still around after the fact.
Harry is experiencing visions before he gives Voldemort his blood. Almost before Voldemort is a being again. Because he experienced in the very beginning of Goblet of Fire, one of your guys' favorite chapters, where all that you get download of information with, they're at the Riddle House.
Yeah.
He has that vision, and it says a boy
You're
woke
right.
up, and he was confused. So, is there something prior to that?
Well, when he was one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And-
that exchange of power, I feel like.
yeah,
Or the download of power into Harry.
yeah. It was like a little computer system.
And even with, I mean, he's interacted with Voldemort. I'm just trying to think of the time with Quirrell or the
Right.
diary and, with Tom Riddle's diary and all that.
I feel like there
If it
was
was an
always a
exchange.
connection, but now it's like stronger. Like now he's feeling emotions. He was having visions, but now he's in Voldemort's head. Like before it was like from observing.
Yeah, and now he's like he is a snake 'cause he's
Stance.
never had that before. In the first vision in Goblet of Fire, he wasn't the snake slithering around; he was observing it.
Yeah, like
And
a
now
third person watching it, and now he's like in his mind.
So is that why Dumbledore asked him that question, because he knows his visions have progressed to a different level?
I think so.
Hmm.
It could be it. Yeah.
Could be.
Let's go to the next chapter because there's a lot of stuff. Anything else in this one, Danny? Danny's
Ah,
looking
probably.
back. There's so much in these chapters.
Did you pick
This
up on
was-
any years?
Yeah, I know. This was one of those chapters that I wanted to do like a
1941.
live read of because there were so many good things. But this next chapter, 23, is one of my favorites too. Christmas on the Closed Ward. Got a summary?
Go for it, Kristen.
Take it away.
All right, cool. Sorry, I'm just skimming through the rest of my chapter,
course.
make sure I didn't have anything in there.
Yep.
All right. So this is the chapter where they basically visit St. Mungo's. Mr. Weasley's doing okay, and they get to talk to him for a little bit, but he just keeps bleeding, so they're trying to just keep him covered and figure out how to solve his problems. But there are people much more hurt than Mr. Weasley here, so they're feeling good. And then the kids are going up to get some tea, and they run into Lockhart. Weird moment, and then Neville and Neville's grandma. So it kind of becomes just like a funny thing and a weird thing. But then it gets serious because the Longbottoms are there, and so then Ron and Hermione become aware of that. So awkward for Neville, but an interesting way to end the chapter. So this is a St. Mungo's chapter.
At the beginning, Harry is trying to figure out what the weapon is, and he comes to a conclusion that he thinks it's him. Is Harry the weapon?
I thought that too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, he's not the weapon.
You're right in Harry's mind, Jen. You're possessing Harry.
I thought, yeah, because I was like, oh my gosh, Voldemort could just transform into Harry, have Harry like kill everyone
Mm-hmm.
or do, because Dumbledore, when he wanted to kill Dumbledore, I was like, oh my gosh, if he possesses Harry, this is done.
Mm.
They would have to keep Harry in like a locked room or something.
Yeah, a padded room. Yep.
And that's why they need Snape to start teaching him that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then we find out more about this, where Mr. Weasley was and everything.
By the end of the next chapter.
Yeah, I know. I keep going ahead.
Yeah. No, but you're right, though. But at this point, I thought there was still a chance that it would be Harry was the weapon.
It could still be, but I feel less
To a certain
likely.
degree, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's the weapon, but he's a weapon, maybe? Like secondary weapon, backup.
And what is the weapon? What? Because they realize kind of at the end
Been
too.
asking this since day one.
I know. I want to know what.
But
is
now
the
we
weapon,
know
guys?
more.
Yeah.
Um,
It's in because at the very end of the next chapter, we'll kind of get into that a little bit later. But Harry realizes what this corridor is, which is where Mr. Weasley was. He was guarding something in the Department of Mysteries. He asked, what's in the Department of Mysteries? So whatever is another version of Harry in the Department of Mysteries. Is baby Harry, like baby Voldemort, in the Department of Mysteries?
Whoa.
Opening your mind up to all sorts of new things.
They cloned him when he was 1. And real Harry is sitting in a tube in the Department of Mysteries.
Or maybe
and this is
it's
clone
Harry's
Harry.
parents in the Department of Mysteries.
Wow. I still feel I kept thinking the weapon was something like a map, or a time turner, something along those lines.
Wait.
But now I'm not sure. Like a giant Marauders map,
That's right,
or
that's right. Or we said the giant
access
time
to the
turner.
tracker
Yeah.
that
It's gotta be
shows where
something more
magic is.
Powerful.
Yeah, but now I'm thinking it is.
The other thing, though, I don't understand is who they're having someone stand on guard watching. Is it guarding this entrance to the? And I'm like, how can you? It just seems so strange. How would you have Mr. or Mrs. Weasley guarding the entrance to this mystery of magic when we know the Death Eaters are like
Yeah.
Voldemort is so powerful
Yeah.
to compare them
Like he's
as,
already
the
infiltrated the
bodyguard?
ministry in other ways, you're thinking?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, obviously, like the snake came, and like no big, like Arthur had no chance. I just don't know. It's not the greatest defense, like guard.
That is a
I
really
could see
interesting
Mad Eye
point.
Moody. I could
Yeah.
Like,
see
Harry
Tonks
did this.
maybe.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for Harry, the guard would have done nothing. Mr. Weasley would have been dead, and then they would have gotten, I'm assuming, access to the weapon. So yeah, it just feels so weird, right?
Yeah, that's why.
Like,
I
why
don't-
guard it if you can't do anything?
But even the people guarding it are doing what they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Or he was sleeping.
They're
Yeah, like he was slacking, I think.
know. He had a long day.
Or could they have
Take
put
a
a
nap.
spell on him to make him fall asleep?
It's possible, but the way it's like end of a corridor, I'm picturing it's like, and this is the ministry. Like these are legit. It's all magic. Was that it? The corridor?
I don't know. That's what I think.
And like he's at the end of this corridor, like there's only one way in, one way out, and he's just looking down, like waiting for someone to come attack. But in a world of invisibility cloaks and whatever else, it just feels weird. I'm thinking of just like the guarding responsibility. When I worked on a ship, we had to do anchor watch. So everyone else is asleep, and when we're at anchor, if the wind picks up and the ship starts to move, like one person has to be awake at all hours. So that would be a responsibility. You don't work the day before, you don't work the day after, because you have to stay up all night. So before I was on anchor watch, the captain comes to me, he says, I'm about to go to bed. When I go to bed, the ship is yours. So you are responsible for everything that happens on the ship. And he like, basically he's like, if we catch someone asleep on anchor watch, you're fired on the spot. No questions asked.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And we lived on the ship too. It's our home. So I was like, oh my goodness. He just puts a lot of weight. So I'm like, Mr. Weasley, what are you doing?
Yeah, I
like
know, for
all
sure.
the wizarding world depends on whether Voldemort finds this this weapon.
Yeah.
And it feels like he was slacking just a little bit. Maybe he's been doing it a while, but I'm like, I
That's
don't
why
know.
I'm like, did he? Because then I'm thinking, okay, like this is crazy. With the snake, like you can hypnotize some.
Yeah.
or vice versa. So I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, a snake comes in and could do like some, or maybe I'm thinking of Aladdin or something.
No, you're
with,
thinking
like,
because even the basilisk, maybe there's something in the eyes that it kills. Maybe this one,
Right.
I don't know.
super
Ooh.
asleep.
So maybe Arthur was, because I can't picture him being irresponsible.
You're right.
He
Maybe he
seems
just
like
didn't
that,
account
yeah.
for this move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got outplayed a little bit.
But that's
you're right.
why
Maybe he wasn't
But then
sleeping.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why wouldn't I feel like Mad Eye Moody should just be like placed there all the time.
And shouldn't there be
Boom.
something magic there, like adding charms to the door, like
Maybe
other
there is,
security
we just
things?
don't know about it yet.
Yeah,
'Cause
and maybe
Voldemort
th-
has
yeah,
not
you're
been able
right.
to get in.
And it still took
True.
them multiple days after Mr. Weasley's
Yeah.
attack to get the weapon.
Or
Yeah.
is it the person's just there to see
Wait,
if Voldemort gets into this
Ooh,
Hmm.
yeah.
door?
Like,
Because they can't really do anything, but it's like, okay, now he. That doesn't make sense, though. I don't know.
Danny, you said that they have the weapon.
Yeah, I'm assuming at the end that joy that was felt was them getting the weapon.
Gotcha. Wow.
That was such headcanon for me. It
I
was
know,
instantly
I-
like, oh yeah, they got the weapon. But actually, they could have been joyful over something else. He had a really good steak or something. I don't know.
Yeah, which was a wizard.
Yeah, wizard
Yeah.
steak,
Ooh.
snake steak.
Wizard steak. That's what we'll eat next time on the podcast. We do have this line though, because Harry is
Huh.
trying to be noble, and he goes, "You know," said Phineas Nigellus, even more loudly than Harry. "This is precisely why I loathe being a teacher. You people are so infernally convinced, or young people are so infernally convinced that they are absolutely right about everything. Has it not occurred to you, my poor puffed up popinjay, that there might be an excellent reason why the headmaster of Hogwarts is not confiding every tiny detail of his plan to you? Have you ever paused while feeling hard done by to note that following Dumbledore's orders has never yet led you into harm? No. No, like all young people, you are quite sure that you alone feel and think. You alone recognize danger. You alone are the only one clever enough to realize what the Dark Lord may be planning." It's a really great line, to be honest. But is Dumbledore right
So
to keep
good.
his secrets?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Why would I don't know? He's like the headmaster, and he's a very powerful wizard. Why would you need to know everything? Just follow orders.
Also, Harry likes to take things into his own hands.
Mm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he does regardless, but
Yeah. Harry is all about that life.
yeah, I feel like the more he knows, it might get him into more trouble.
So true.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe.
Harry's about to like run away here just
Yeah.
because he's feeling weird about stuff, and we're like, Dumbledore literally says stay. Just like stop doing stuff for
But I
once.
love that he was perfect timing. So that's why I'm like, he
Hmm.
knows ahead. He knows like 10 minutes ahead.
Yeah,
all
not
the
like a
time.
ton, but you know.
It's like chess when you just know a few moves ahead. Dumbledore is definitely playing at a different level of chess. But it's such a good point because Harry really does that a lot. Like, even they didn't want to tell him about Sirius Black. They didn't give him any of that information because as soon as he knew about it, they knew Harry would go after him. So maybe this weapon is kind of on the lines of that. As soon as Harry knows what this weapon is, he's going for it. Doesn't care what anybody. That's why Dumbledore is maybe being distant with him. All that kind of stuff. That's a good point. The snow is so picturesque right now.
Yeah.
So
In a
beautiful.
trance.
Gigantic,
I know.
thick snow.
I know.
It's like a snow
I
globe.
know, yeah. Just floating around.
Magical.
I feel like
On
we have to show the
Christmas
people
morning.
what it looks like.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could swap the camera, but maybe after. It'll keep snowing, hopefully, another hour. Or 2 or 3.
An
However long we're doing this.
Yeah.
We're like halfway through, guys. Come on. Maybe a little
Yay.
less, but.
Well, are we halfway through the book too, or are we more than
Yeah,
halfway?
we're more
More than
through the
halfway,
book.
yeah.
More than halfway through the series right now.
yeah.
It's like not coming to a close.
No.
It is, I know, it's almost sad. Guys, I need to obliviate you, and we need to
We
just
can
keep
do
doing
it
this.
again.
Wow.
At the end, I'm going to reveal I'm a wizard.
Oh boy.
Okay, this is the line,
Is
though.
this real life?
This is the line that we get for Harry, which is a insane line. He goes, "The feeling of being unclean intensified. He half wished he had not obeyed Dumbledore. If this was how life was going to be for him in Grimmauld Place from now on, maybe he would be better off in Privet Drive after all." Do you think it's crazy that Harry wants to be back in Privet Drive? Is he just off his rocker like Phineas says? Is he like,
Out of his gourd.
really?
Yeah, he's just, it's such a whirlwind. He doesn't even know who he is anymore. Existential crisis. He's
Yeah.
asking the big questions.
He also
He's not thinking
hasn't
straight.
slept in days.
Yep.
Yeah, seriously.
So
Yeah, that
you're
affects
like
you.
delirious for sure, and
That
not
is-
thinking straight.
That's a great point because he hasn't slept. He probably hasn't eaten a great meal in a while. He's
I
like,
feel bad because he's afraid to go to sleep. He thinks he's gonna like do something.
Yeah.
yeah,
So even if he wanted to, he's like terrified.
Yeah. What's that? Why can't I think of it? When you don't fall asleep.
Insomnia.
Yeah, he's gonna become like an insomniac.
I was thinking the other one.
Just
I was
always
gonna say narcolepsy.
Yeah, I was thinking that
was
too.
thinking narcolepsy.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, we're all gonna fall asleep all of a sudden. What do you think about Hermione coming back in this moment?
They need Hermione. They definitely need Hermione.
I mean, I'm kind of cheating because I'm on Reddit, but I felt bad for her parents.
Yeah, I threw a question out to our Reddit. Is she a bad daughter? They're on a ski trip and it's their Christmas vacation.
Yeah.
And she hightails it out of there to spend time with her friends.
And
If
spends a
I'm her
lie to
parents-
do it, you know?
Yeah,
She's like, I'm going to
exactly.
lie and get out
If
of
I'm
here.
her
It's like,
parents, I'm like, dude, what the heck? So
What
are
did
her
she say?
parents good parents?
we
How
actually
did
don't
she get
know.
out of the ski trip? What did she say?
She said that she had to study for exams
Yeah.
or something,
Oh, but
which
they
is
would
not
believe
true.
that.
Yeah.
Well, they'd believe it, yeah, but she lied to her parents to.
I feel
Ooh.
like I would do that too. It's like FOMO. You're missing out.
Yeah.
On
Missing
something.
out of something.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that.
But it's such a
something.
short amount of time that her parents get her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can relate because one time when I was away in Hawaii and all my friends were having parties in New Jersey.
You wanted to go
And
back?
New York.
friends.
Wait, you wanted to come back from being in Hawaii?
I was feeling like I was missing out on a lot of stuff because things
Wow.
were happening with my friends. People were getting in relationships and stuff, and I felt like I was missing out. And I was like, I just want to go back. Yeah,
You're in Hawaii.
I know it was weird. I'm just saying.
FOMO is a powerful thing.
I
I,
know.
don't know what it
It
feels
was
like.
2
but
weeks.
I know it's a powerful thing.
I don't know.
He's
what
like,
it
I
feels
experienced the opposite.
Yeah. Yep.
There is another thing. It's like, I don't know.
Joy of missing out. They call it JOMO.
Wow, nice. I like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, you listen.
That's
you're-
funny.
Yeah. never
Or the
mind.
foam no, fear of not missing out.
Hmm.
FOMO.
FOMO.
Oh, so
nice.
you're aware.
Yeah, it is odd. Maybe I slightly thought her parents aren't great to make this feel better, because I think of her as being a good daughter. Maybe she just understands the stakes. She knows Harry needs her, but also maybe her parents aren't the nicest, and she's like, I can't do another time with them. I don't even like skiing. They like skiing. They don't really care if I like it. They drag me along on these
Yeah, but
trips
she's
and
also
blah
an
blah
only
blah.
child, right?
Yeah,
So like, I feel like you get tired of just parents.
maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
She's had
I don't
enough.
know. Honestly, I'm not
Yeah.
an only child, so I don't know.
But this is I mean, this is high school for sure. So I mean, it's different. I don't know what British boarding school is like. Maybe because when you go back home for college, it's good to see your parents for like 2 days, and you're like, all right, I just want to be back.
Yeah.
So maybe you experience that a little bit younger when you're in a boarding school. You're like, I just want to go back. That's like my life. That's my family.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't know. It's why would you want to miss out on this stuff?
Yeah.
Someone's like really got hurt,
Yeah.
and Harry's going through something serious. It's like, mom and dad, this is for the bigger
Yeah. Why does
cause of the world. So like, I need to go.
I get
But
it
instead,
from her
she
perspective.
uses her time turner so she can do them both.
Oh my god.
Or she
You
obliviates her
always
parents
police
so that
Oh
she
my
can.
god.
I'm just saying,
Hermione
she's got
obliviating
options.
her parents.
Yep.
That would be wild.
And it didn't show up on the magic map because they were skiing out of the jurisdiction of the ministry because it was way out east. Or it was
No,
in a
it's
town
Victor
like
Crumb.
Hogsmeade where there's actually a lot of magic
What
stuff.
if they were visiting the Crumb?
They were out.
Ooh.
That's brilliant.
North.
Yeah, I like it. They were over there
Head
skiing.
cannon.
And then the parents met each other's parents.
And Hermione had a
Yeah,
little
you're
fight
right.
with Vicky. That's why she left.
Vicky.
Yeah.
We're getting lied to right
Yeah.
here. She lied to the trio.
Oh my goodness. Double
Wow.
lie. She's a double
Lie.
agent.
This is
Whoa.
becoming headcanon.
I like that. Think of the possibilities.
Let's see if she talks to Crumb after.
We'll have to see.
She's a hot tamale right now.
Well, Ginny's still the hot tamale. In these chapters,
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
yeah.
Okay.
She's great. Ginny's awesome.
Yeah, she is great in these chapters.
There were like 3 times already where I'm like, yes, you go, Ginny.
Yeah. She is fantastic. Hermione is an incredibly good friend here, though. And people are saying that in the chat as well. That she, even in spite of this like crappy moment, she knows where she has to be. And she just goes and helps out her friend. I love when everyone's terrified of like going into the room with Harry. And she just goes, knocks on the door, It's like, stop being such a like a downer. Like,
Yep.
listen to me, talk to me. Stop saying all this other stuff. Like,
How
let's
about
actually-
remember when I was possessed?
Yeah. Ginny
Yeah.
just shoves it in his face.
know.
Oh, like you don't know anybody else who's not been possessed by
Yeah, that's how she said it. Right? I
Dumbledore
love
or
that.
Lord Voldemort. Dumbledore. Gosh, that would be terrible. Man. Because yeah, I wrote it down. Well, that was a bit stupid of you, said Ginny angrily. Seeing as you don't know anyone but me who's been possessed by you know who, and I can tell you how it feels. Harry remained quite still as the impact of these words hit him. Then he wheeled round. I forgot, he said. Lucky you, said Ginny coolly. Which that line cut me. She has not been able to forget about that. And I mean, obviously she wouldn't be able to forget about
Right.
that, but that has stuck with her for her life. She's never gonna like be able to completely forget about that. It's such an invasion. It's so sad.
That was good for Harry because it's not. He was, so much has happened to him,
Mhm.
but it's not
Yeah.
only about him.
Yeah.
That was a good reminder.
But
from
he's
her.
like so selfish
Mm.
because he's only thinking about him, but he thinks he's helping others by thinking
Yeah.
about him.
Hmm.
I don't know what that is, but
That's
that's
such a great point.
it's yeah.
Because sometimes you just do that in your life. You feel like you're helping others when you're not. You're not doing anything for them, but you're thinking of yourself more. But you kind of disguise it as helping others. And I mean, Danny mentioned almost a theme of this book right now is alone. He just feels alone, and you want people to be around him. And his friends know that, and they know that they want to be around him. But Harry is like in this mood, and he pushes other people away. But Hermione breaks through that, which I love. And Ginny kind of breaks through that here too. She's like,
Well, he
"Harry, you're
thinks
not
that he
alone
could
in
like
this."
hurt people at this
Yeah.
point too, so I get that. I'd want
Yeah.
to stay away also.
Agreed. He
And
does
then
like
he
little-
kind of gets little glimpses of people not wanting to like
yeah.
be around him. So then I would probably fall into
Mhm.
that
little
whole
gossip. Yeah.
yeah, like don't come near me.
Yeah. That is a thing. You just understand how Harry's feeling here. I feel like all of us have kind of been there to some extent. But they're giving each other gifts. Do you remember what Ron gave Hermione?
A kiss.
Imagine.
No, I don't remember. I would like that.
Okay, it goes. This is what it says. Hermione jumps in and goes, "Thanks for the book, Harry," she said happily. "I've been wanting that new theory on numerology for ages. And that perfume's really unusual, Ron."
Well, well, well.
What are
Is
your
it a
thoughts on
love
Ron?
potion perfume?
Yeah, he took a page out of Mrs. Weasley's
I
book.
know, Ron giving out perfume. What do you think?
I think she's gonna fall in love with him.
Yeah.
I think she's already there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. Otherwise, it'd be dangerous perfume. What if she sprays it while looking at Harry? I don't know how the perfume works. Or maybe Ron had to put some of his hair in there and it's already built in. I don't
What if Mrs. Weasley made it for him to get
know.
there?
Yeah.
Oh, she
Mrs.
would do
Weasley's
that.
like, we want more Christmases with Hermione. Give her this.
Yeah, now that she's not into Harry
Hmm.
from the what was the newspaper article?
The Daily Prophet wrote about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was so mad. She was so rude to Hermione.
Mm. Yeah. And someone said this too. Ava said just about the Hermione thing. She thinks Hermione was hiding how sad she was to not be with her parents so that Harry wouldn't feel more guilty, which just makes her so much better of a friend too. Like she's
Mhm.
doing selfless things. Harry's not doing selfless things, but
Yep.
thinks he's doing selfless
Exactly.
things. And Hermione is really the glue that holds this whole thing together.
The hot tamale.
Sorry, that burp was
hot-
right into the mic. It snuck up on me. That's for you people.
What is the we talked about this a while ago with the best gift that you've ever gotten. What's the best gift you've ever given?
Your sweaters.
Aw,
Agreed. That's
Honestly,
the best one I've
so
ever gotten.
legendary.
Love
Yeah,
sweat
they are
tears when
incredible.
it's anger.
I have it prominently displayed in my closet. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, it's so
It
epic.
is, yeah. That was truly one of the best gifts I've ever been given.
I feel like I can only wear it when I'm in controlled environments. No eating,
Mhm.
you know. I'm like, I like
You just
no
stand there
curveballs.
wearing it over 'em.
Yeah. Feeling
move.
powerful.
Oh man.
Hmm.
Giving gifts.
I remember this wasn't the best gift I've ever given, but I remember the reaction was great when My dad, we had like an old furnace in our house, so we would have to chop wood and like feed the fire, and that was kind of what heated our house. And my dad chopped wood all the time. Like he was out there. My cousins were, they removed trees, so they would like just bring him logs, and he would just chop it all the time. And he had 2 really good mauls that he would chop wood with. And I remember I went to Home Depot looking for like just a really good one for him. I looked on Google trying to find good ones, and I got one that was people raved about. It was like the greatest maul known to humanity. And I got it for him. And when
Is
I
that
got
an
it,
axe?
yeah, it's like a splitting. Yeah, a maul splits
Okay,
it. Yeah,
thank
an axe
you.
chops down a tree. It's like a
That's
thinner
when you
version
bought
of a
them
maul.
in-
A
Oh.
maul's like a triangle, pretty much.
And that you
Like
like
an
hit
MALL?
the
Yeah, you
hammer
hit-
too, and it like
yeah, kind
cracks
of.
it.
There's the other side. You can hit like a little chisel. All right, yeah.
Oh, got it.
A wedge in, and it'll split the wood.
Yeah, okay.
But I gave it to him, and his first reaction, he goes, "I already have 2. Thanks for getting it, but that's okay." And then a week later, he tried it, and he comes back to me. He like chops a few pieces of wood, and he comes back into the house with the maul, and he goes, "This is the greatest maul that I've ever used in my life." He's like, I will never not use this ever. And I was like, yes, because dads are so
like, it
difficult
took
to
a
get
little
gifts
bit.
for,
Yes,
and
so
that was the one time
true.
where I was like, I got him a good gift. Let's go. I was so
Took him a
happy.
minute to realize it.
Yeah, I know. I was so happy about that one.
That's good. Actually, almost all my dad gifts would probably be up there too.
Really?
When he was like, "I don't need this," and then they like try it on, like, "Okay, it's nice." I mean, if you want to get me another one, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, because dads are so tough to get gifts for, to be honest.
For real.
I don't know. I can't think of another one. Well, the best actually was my niece. I gave her for Christmas. She's obsessed with Frozen now.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave her a robe that has Elsa all over it. And I gave her a light that has Elsa, like all the characters, and it's you touch it and it changes colors. And I was like, oh, this is great. So I give it to her. She opens it and she's like tosses it to the side. And she's like looking in the bag, and I forgot I had something else in there that she liked. She put those other 2 to the side. I was like, what the heck? I was like, aren't you obsessed with Elsa and Frozen? My sister gets her a dress-up gown of Elsa with gloves and the braid. She was obsessed with that. So here I am comparing my gift to my sister's gift. And I'm like, oh gosh, like she's obsessed with that. But after a week later, my sister-in-law and my brother are like, she's obsessed with the robe and the light. Like, this is like a long-term obsession.
Yeah.
Like, she wants her robe on all the time. So I was like, okay. Like, it was so
You
cute
won.
to
You
hear
won
that.
the
That I was
long-term
like,
Delayed
battle.
reaction.
long-term, I won.
She had to win that one.
Yeah. So, yeah. That felt great. I was like, yes, I knew
That's a
that
good
one
one.
day. She would. The robe is so cute. Oh, my God.
Aw.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's my story. I'm sure there's other ones in there. But I am a gift giver that I like to get something that you mentioned a long time ago, or you like a certain thing and surprise you. But
Yeah.
it's hard.
Fun to do, yeah.
Mm.
Some people are easier than others.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, some people are the easiest person to give gifts for, but okay, they go to St. Mungo's after this, after all the Christmas stuff, and they're spending Christmas on the closed ward, which is the chapter title. And one of the healers thinks Ron has spattergroit. Do you actually think he does? He says he doesn't, but this is a licensed healer.
A licensed healer.
I guess a licensed healer. I don't know what else you'd call it. An official healer.
Hmm.
Do you think that he has spattergroit? Or do you think he ever will get spattergroit?
Just sounds awful.
I know.
Yikes.
Or they never seen so many freckles in their life.
I know. That's true. His face is just covered in freckles. I love freckles too. I love
It's
a ton of
weird
freckles,
that I'm wondering how full this barrel of eel eyes needs to be that you're standing in. Neck high? Or you just have your feet in eel
you got
eyes?
to take a bath and
And you have to be fully naked? And then does that mean a werewolf could never be healed from this? Because every time it's a full moon, they're a werewolf? So
Ugh.
maybe maybe werewolves get Spattergroit and they're trapped with it for life
Yeah,
because they
it's
can
like,
never go through the
you're
remedies.
screwed.
Yikes.
I love that. That's what goes through your mind. All the questions of what if, how to get healed from this. What do you think about them seeing Lockhart though? So this happens after where they're walking up to the closed ward and they see Lockhart.
That was a
Almost
funny
suspicious, to
interaction.
be honest.
Really?
I was a little bit on my toes for some of this stuff, and that was one of those things where I'm like, what are the chances?
Yeah.
This is the wizard hospital for the entire area, and they run into the one person they know here. Well, the two people they know, whatever. I was like, oh man, I don't know.
But when they said to close the door, I was like, oh no. Like, didn't they say when Lockhart came in and the healer? So then I was like, is the healer a real healer or is it like Voldemort's?
This seemed like a little dangerous
spy?
time. I was not psyched
And
about
they
the whole thing.
all-
I'm like, kids running off alone in
Yeah,
this
and they
place
all
with
go
all
and they're like, close
strangers.
the door behind you. And I'm like, oh, I think that's what they said, right?
Yep.
I'm still skeptical.
So I was, yeah.
Again, I'm too trusting of the reader.
You're like, oh, Lockhart.
But it was
What's up,
actually
guy?
kind of
What's up,
nice
dude?
seeing him. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
you know.
right. It is kind of like
I wasn't threatened by him. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's like a restart for him.
No,
Yeah.
not him. It was like him as a distraction to catch someone.
Mm.
Bait.
He's got a little. Ooh, yeah, a
That's
little
what
bait.
I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
But it worked out okay.
out of everyone in this hospital, they just happened to run into Lockhart. Maybe there's something behind it. Then again, I mean, I just ran into Danny's brother in a very large
True.
city while I was on a date. So
Small world.
there you go.
That's fair.
I know.
Twice.
Twice. Walking. Yeah, that was wild. This is another line that happens right after they meet Lockhart. It goes, "What?" said Ron, looking amazed. Harry wanted to stamp Ron's foot, but that sort of thing is much harder to bring off unnoticed when you're wearing jeans rather than robes. Is that your dad down to the end, Neville? What's this? Said Mrs. Longbottom sharply. Haven't you told your friends about your parents, Neville? Neville took a deep breath, looked up from the ceiling, and shook his head. Harry could not remember ever feeling sorrier for someone. He could not think of any way of helping Neville out of the situation. Well, it's nothing to be ashamed of, said Mrs. Longbottom angrily. You should be proud, Neville. Proud. They didn't give their health and sanity, so their only son would be ashamed of them, you know. I'm not ashamed, said Neville very faintly, still looking anywhere but at Harry and the others. Ron was now standing on tiptoe to look over at the inhabitants of the two beds. What do you think about them seeing Neville's parents? What do you think about Neville's parents being there? What do you think about Neville's response?
Felt so bad for Neville. I think it was probably healthy for him,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
but still stinks.
Yeah.
I did think Harry was being nice. Like he was trying to come up with ways to like save the situation and shield him from it.
Yeah, seriously.
No saving this though.
The grandmother, though, was like harsh. But then I was like, yeah, it's true. Like, your parents
Mm-hmm.
were standing up against the Dark Lord. And they did everything they could. And they didn't give up any information. Like, they're strong parents. And for you not to, like, share that is, like, not... I don't know what the word is, like loving to them or like giving
Yeah.
them respect or the honor that they deserve as his parents. Because he's kind of just pretending they don't exist.
Yeah, seriously.
But if he's like, yeah, no, my parents actually never gave up 1 ounce of information and now they're in the crazy ward because their mind got destroyed. But I come from a family that's very strong-minded, and they will not give up anything. Like then,
It's like a moment of pride.
yeah,
Like what
the
the grandma
power
said,
of
yeah.
of the family line, even though they're
I feel like he already feels like an outcast, so it just makes him more fun.
Yeah.
yeah, but you could turn out an outcast into like a cool, like it could be a
Yeah. It's
Great.
just interesting the perspective of children, though. Because it's like, I mean, he sees Malfoy, you know, and I'm sure maybe that's one of the kids that he's afraid will, like, make fun of him for this. Because he
Yeah.
would make fun of him. No question asked, you know. And maybe Neville just doesn't want that.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, he should confide in his friends, but I feel like that's hard. That's like a serious situation. So that's hard for kids to kind of be
Yeah.
vulnerable in that way.
I guess it's hard to
You know.
put my mind in that childlike mindset.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, why do you care what Malfoy says?
Right,
Yeah, for
right,
sure.
right.
Right now.
Your friends then, and that's what you care about. So if you don't
But Malfoy doesn't have any friends. He has Crabbe and Goyle.
Yeah.
But when you're in
And
But
he's really
right.
loud.
And like the status of the school, you know, I don't know. It's like,
No, I get like that's the high school or the school
Right.
thing. I just you could say a few things and
Yeah.
shut it down.
right.
Yeah,
It's easier to say that in your 30s.
Yeah.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can't put
Right,
myself
right.
in that.
Neville is still like damaged by this because this is another line that happens after that just made me tear up so much. It's like such a beautiful moment. Neville's mother had come edging down the ward in her nightdress. She no longer had the plump, happy-looking face Harry had seen in Moody's old photograph of the original Order of the Phoenix. Her face was thin and worn now. Her eyes seemed overlarge, and her hair, which had turned white, was wispy and dead-looking. She did not seem to want to speak, or perhaps was not able to, but she made timid motions toward Neville, holding something in her outstretched hand. "Again," said Mrs. Longbottom, sounding slightly weary. "Very well, Alice, dear. Well, very well. Neville, take it, whatever it is." But Neville had already stretched out his hand, into which his mother dropped an empty Drubel's best blowing gum wrapper. "Very nice, dear," said Neville's grandma in a falsely cheery voice, patting his mother on the shoulder. But Neville said quietly, "Thanks, Mom." His mother tattered away, back up the ward, humming to herself. Neville looked around at the others, his expression defiant, as though daring them to laugh. But Harry did not think he'd ever found anything less funny in his life. "Well, we'd better get back at it," sighed Mrs. Longbottom, drawing on long green gloves. "Very nice to have met you all. Neville, put that wrapper in the bin. She must have given you enough of them to paper your bedroom by now." But as they left, Harry was sure he saw Neville slip the sweet wrapper into his pocket. It's, I can imagine Neville's bedroom is literally like, he has droves, he has like cabinets full of these things, just like a physical representation of his mom, of just like knowing his mom in a different way. And now you guys have a little insight into why Neville is one of my favorite characters, because
Yep. So it's a sad story.
I know.
So
Yeah,
makes
I'm
sense.
all about the sadness, because he encounters what Harry has encountered, almost in a not a more difficult way. They're equally as difficult, but how Neville shoulders it, and he's just quiet through it all. Like that is my personality. So the idea of telling someone about this that's almost foreign to me. Like this happened with Chadwick Boseman a long time ago, where when he died from cancer, no one knew that he had cancer. Everyone was shocked. And so there was always these memes running around that he was always, Chadwick Boseman is the Black Panther, sorry.
Thank you.
So
I know
Yeah.
Black Panther.
so when everyone, there were jokes all around that
Oh,
when he
yeah.
would do like the Black Panther sign, there were like memes of he was devolving and he looked less and less healthy, and people were like, when you've been doing this for so long that you're sick of it. But he was literally just sick, and he had cancer, and he just
They
couldn't do it
thought he
anymore.
was doing drugs too. That he was on.
Oh yeah,
I
exactly.
read-
It was the
I
drugs
read
that was
that.
wiping him clean of that. So like, he was
No, they
And-
thought he was like a drug addict though
Yeah.
too. Oh,
Yeah.
that's what
So
because
you
he
were
was
saying.
unfair.
super skinny.
Oh
Yeah,
my
'cause
Yeah,
they thought
yeah.
really he was getting sick. Yeah, but he quietly endured that, and then he passed away. He told his family, but that was something that that was like his private business. And I feel like Neville is almost the same in this whole book. You don't know anything about Neville. You know he's a shy kid. You know you're like, we were questioning like, should he be in Gryffindor? Is he really brave? And here is where you get, I think, his bravery.
Mhm.
Like his absolute bravery. He is enduring his life, going to Christmas, visiting his parents who are insane. They lost their minds. And any moment he gets where these people, like his mom gives him a gum wrapper and he slips in his pocket, because that's like a little piece of who his mom is. And he just is so tragic. It's so beautiful. What do you guys think of Neville? Do you love him as much as I do?
Maybe not as
I'm
much.
ending the
but-
podcast right now if you don't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he is so
I don't.
great.
No, he's sweet, and yeah, he's probably he's stronger than you think too, because if you
Mhm.
can keep all that quiet
Mm.
to yourself.
And Ava
Except
says
I
something
can't
really good in the
imagine
podcast or in the chat too. She says, "I think Neville is what Harry would be without Ron." This is kind of probably true.
Right.
Harry was lost. Harry was kind of very similar to Neville in the beginning. Lost, a little confused, and then he met Ron and he was good.
That's why Neville needs friends too.
I know.
Yep.
It's not good to be alone,
Yeah.
even if that's your default.
I know. I'm with you. I agree. I've come full circle on that.
Well, 180.
180, yeah, full circle. No, I love being alone.
He's on his way back.
That's what I was like.
He's like, I've tasted it and we're going back.
I think you're full circle. It's got to go 180.
Oh man.
Any other questions that you guys had in this chapter
Oh,
or comments?
hold on. There was something. Oh, Percy sent back his jumper.
Over the line.
That made me so mad.
I didn't think it was actually him.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, this sounds suspicious.
Is it Toad Lady? Yeah, I know.
I'm like, what happened to Percy? Where is he?
Yeah.
On Christmas, he wouldn't go back and hang with his people? What's he doing?
I think he's
Kidnapped?
possessed or imperious or something.
Because Harry, it's all centered around Harry's possession here. Are other people being possessed or imperious?
Yes.
Maybe.
I just can't imagine Percy turning so hard
Like,
against his
yeah, and
family.
even if he completely turns for every other reason, like, where is he on Christmas? Alone in his flat in London?
Maybe he has a girlfriend.
Did he go home with Fudge?
Do you think his
No,
pride is
he's
getting
with
to him,
Toad.
His
Because
what?
if he's gone this far, do you think his pride is getting to
It
him?
is
Like, I can't.
definitely
like, I've come
possible.
This far,
He's
maybe
just
I
digging his
can't go
heels in,
back.
yeah. He knows
But
he's
it
wrong,
seems
but he's just digging his
odd.
heels in.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it almost feels like such a weird insult because if you really are a certain level of mad, you know, you would go home on Christmas ready to argue and make your points. And he has no problem arguing with his whole family about things. But this feels like if it's actually him, he doesn't even care. And then maybe even beyond that, he's trying to cause pain by sending the jumper back.
Right,
he didn't just
that's-
throw it in the garbage or whatever.
Or just be silent.
Yep.
Yeah.
He sent it back. Like that kind of doesn't
Did he
make
send
any
a
sense.
note with it?
I don't think so.
It was just them.
Yeah.
Because whoever kidnapped him couldn't send a note without it. Giving
Yeah,
it away.
that's what I was
It
thinking.
was the newspaper clippings. or
Like
the
I'm still
letter.
holding on to hope that Percy isn't completely lost. Because if he really did that and it was actually him, he has taken more steps down this dark path than I
Yeah.
realized.
Maybe. We'll see.
Huh.
I just
Yeah.
know Danny has another question in this chapter that he's.
Oh no, there was just one other thing that I was suspicious about in this chapter.
Oh no, there's just one.
Yeah, just one, not a bunch. Bodhi Broderick. He's the one who thinks he's a teapot, according to the old man with the horn when they first came in. So he got a visitor, old man with the horn. Then he gets a plant and a hippogriff calendar. I don't trust this plant. If the Bodhi visitor knew that Bodhi Broderick, because this Bodhi visitor was there the other day, knew that he was sharing a room with these, big hitters. We got the Longbottoms and the Lockhart crew. I don't trust this plant being in there. There are some dangerous plants in the wizarding world, including the one that Neville had.
Yeah,
Ooh,
but
maybe
when-
Neville could scout it
maybe-
out.
I
He'd look
know.
at it and be like, ooh,
That's literally
we're
what
safe
I was
here.
thinking.
Maybe he doesn't know, though.
But Neville's in a weird place too. So
Yes,
he'd probably be thrown.
he
off.
wasn't
doesn't
paying
know.
attention.
Yeah, exactly.
But either way,
But I'm
I don't trust
surprised
this
that
plant
these
at all.
People all share a room for like eternity.
Yeah.
Like, they
That's
all get
very
along
strange.
and they can. They must be drugging him up.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Like a curtains between them. What? I missed that.
I
don't even
guess.
know.
And a locked door.
Yeah, it's weird.
Very
What do you
suspicious.
think the plan is?
Well, I had two initial thoughts. One was the thing from Hogwarts Legacy that like attacks people. Like it would
Venomous
get big enough,
tentacular?
and then all of a sudden it would start
What was
like
the
killing
play
people.
That like the plant eats people.
What?
The Little House of Horrors or something.
The big Venus flytrap.
Yeah.
A big Venus flytrap. I also thought, what's it take to make a wand? Because you might be able to make a wand out of the plant when it gets to a certain
How's
size.
your wand going?
It's
by
how
the
you
way?
smuggle wands into the hospital. You gift a plant, and then when it gets long enough,
my
all of a
goodness.
sudden you snap a branch off, make a wand.
Danny, you need to write a book.
So I'm
Danny's
just saying,
theories of
this
Oh
plant
yeah,
feels
that's it. Little House
suspicious.
of Horrors. horrors. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Little Shop of Horrors.
Little shop. Oh, that's it. Oh, house shop. Same
Yeah,
thing.
same thing.
Did you see Little House on the Prairie before?
No. Horrors.
Great
Little House
show.
on the
Great
Prairie
show.
Horrors.
So, anyways, I'm still going to be suspicious of Bodie Broderick and his ear-horned friend. But we'll see.
I didn't even catch any of that. I read that like just like that.
I'm always looking for the subtle hints because I think if something nefarious was happening, she would hint at it. So
Yeah.
the fact that it came up again, what are the chances the dude behind them in
So
line
funny.
to check in also is visiting a person they interact with later?
Yep.
But
But
49th
she left
Ward, things are
no
going
hints about the polyjuice potion and Crouch, and we picked that up.
Yeah,
So your theories.
Yeah, but she left no hints about the plant becoming a wand plant either. And
He's
here
like,
we
what kind of
are.
tree is this? Is this a
Not
yew? Is
true.
this an apple? Is this a dogwood?
So, yep.
That's so funny. Okay, on to chapter 24, Occlumency.
Dun dun dun.
Someone give me a summary of this chapter.
This is the one where Harry starts to learn about this weird ability for people to kind of invade your mind. Our Muggle speech will say reading minds. So Harry has to kind of go to extra class with Snape per Dumbledore's instructions to learn how to resist his mind being read and kind of be more understanding of that. So I didn't write the summary, so I forget if I'm missing anything, but that's the general idea. Back at Hogwarts and Harry going through this class with Snape, weird tension, like what are Snape's motives, a sketchy moment with a pensieve. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're
very
learning
good.
about mind
DA.
reading
Talk
here.
all about that.
And
Ooh,
Cho
and
asking
Cho.
for
Ooh.
Valentine's
Harry not
Day.
catching any cues.
But then he did.
Yeah,
I
he
was
got
so
it.
proud
And
of
he
him.
ran after her.
Yeah,
I was
I know.
proud of
I
him
know,
too.
Agreed.
It's clicking.
Yep.
That was good. That was
He's
Yep.
learning.
Because I was about to be mad at him, and then he ran after.
He's like, why was that a response? That's a weird response to the question I'm thinking. The DA, right?
Yeah.
It was a
She
DA
thinking about
meeting.
the DA when she was thinking about Valentine's Day. In the beginning
That's
of this chapter,
very like aggressive forward for her though. That
know.
is pretty
I
straightforward.
know. Good for Cho. Knows what she wants, goes after it.
I
Wants
mean,
more
her
of a wet
last
kiss.
boyfriend died, so I guess she's like, I might
Maybe
as
she's
well
a-
make it.
Maybe she's on the bad side, and she knows everyone that she dates, she's cursed,
Whoa.
dies. So she's trying to date Harry so that Harry
You're
dies.
so messed up.
Ooh.
That would be maniacal.
Little bit.
What is Creature up to?
Oh, he's creepy. I think he left and came back.
I think all of this is under the command of Bellatrix.
But what do you wait? No. How? Bellatrix is the kind of related to the Blacks.
And Creature likes her
lady.
better.
Oh,
Yeah.
the one that like killed, not
Yeah.
Longbottoms.
And her name is not burned out of the family tree.
She is like an idol for her in his little sleeping quarters.
Yep.
Right?
The taped up painting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it just sounded sketchy because Creature was found in the attic after days. He's there to serve them, but he wasn't there. And as much as I'm not down with the house elf serving, yeah, be free. But what we do know is he can't leave the house unless commanded. All right.
Down the wrong pipe.
I want to hear your theory too. So we know he can't leave the house unless he's commanded to, except Harry did bring up the point that Dobby left without permission, kind of. Although Dobby was seemingly, possibly told to watch Privet Drive. So maybe
Yeah.
he left the house under command, but just went a little farther than he was allowed. The point is, house elves do not listen perfectly.
Yeah.
And even if they did, multiple family members can give conflicting instructions. There could be, for example, a painting of dear Aunt What's-Her-Face in Bellatrix's house, and she could say, yo, go to your other painting and give some instructions
Spy.
to Creature from me and use this code word. He'll know it's actually me. It's an inside joke from childhood or whatever it is. And then Creature maybe could take commands from the painting from someone else. Or maybe Bellatrix just stopped by. I don't know.
Bellatrix stopped by the
Maybe.
house.
I don't think she could get into Grimmauld Place, but I'm curious. It was the Blacks' house for a long time. Do they know all the ways in and out? Does the Flu Network still work there?
Yeah, is there a secret passage into it?
Their clothing is moth-eaten, so moths can get in.
Yeah.
And that's a muggle thing.
'Cause, I mean, that's another
Maybe
interesting
moths
one.
aren't muggles.
There's a protection on the Dursleys' house, but they still
They're
use
magical.
Flu Network. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I don't know, but I haven't trusted Creature this entire time. And what was he doing in the attic, even if he was in the attic this whole time?
Yeah.
It just doesn't fully line up, and I'm not sure why. And then, yeah. Could he have left? That's the question in my mind. I'm thinking maybe. Jen, could he have left?
I think so.
Where would he go and why and how?
He would go because he doesn't like anyone in the Order of the Phoenix.
Like, just because he doesn't like them, he would rebel like Dobby was, kind of.
Yeah. I think also, though, I was wondering is it possible a house elf could visit someone in the Prisoner of Azkaban?
How? And
In
why?
Azkaban.
Yeah, that's. I was like, that's so weird.
I was going to let
Visit
it
a prisoner in Azkaban.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is.
So you think it's Bellatrix,
Bellatrix.
too?
Yeah, but just because she has like a shrine.
No. And Creature has the picture of Bellatrix.
Yeah.
So she could be
talk
given
to him?
commands directly through
I
that.
know, that's what there's.
If she has a picture of herself, she took a selfie in Azkaban. I wonder what the extent of that is. You break a rock off in your cell, you make a really nice portrait of yourself.
Anyway, I
Is
feel
it
like
enough to
but
create
then
a
I was
connection?
thinking that Creature is able to give information about everything going on with the
He
Order.
can at least send
and then
information.
like
yeah.
now, oh, guess what? Harry's back here. He had this, and this experience, and like just sharing everything.
Right. And even if Bellatrix is in prison,
I think they just
you know.
chop his head off and put him on the
Oh
wall.
my, it's what he wants.
That's what he wants.
Or they can set him free. Rehabilitation.
No, don't set him free. He has all this information.
Yeah, I know, I'm kidding. But also I
Then
do
a
feel
part of
bad
me
for
was
him.
like, did Hermione just give him a piece of clothing and now he's gonna open it on Christmas and it's frees him and then
But
he's
they
gonna
did warn
go.
against that. Harry was like, you can't do that, right? You know that because he can't be free. Would she go against that and do it anyway?
I don't know.
I sure hope not. Yeah, the Creature situation, Sketch City. What if you're in jail and you paint a painting all around your entire cell? You're almost part of the art. Then can you be in the portal?
How is that?
But, the problem is you'd be trapped on the other side. But at least you'd be able to explore the world through paintings, maybe. At least the ones of you. Or, like, you paint yourself in with the Mona Lisa. So
That's
you can
like
take
a
a trip to the
ghost.
Louvre whenever
Yeah.
you want.
That's like a ghost. You become a ghost and you can't ever not become a ghost after
Mm,
that.
oh, you're
You paint
trapped in the
yourself
painting
into a
forever.
Painting and you're just in that painting forever.
And you have to, like, cover your whole body in
It's like
paint.
that-
So then you're just
that's
kind of
like
trapped.
that Netflix series we were watching.
But if you knew you had a life sentence in Azkaban, it might be worth it.
Might as well, yeah. But this is where he's learning occlumency. And they have a guest, a visitor. Snape comes, which is just a little creepy. And he goes, occlumency, Potter. Magical defense against external penetration. Or of the mind against external penetration. An obscure branch of magic, but a highly useful one. What are your thoughts on occlumency?
It's a weird skill.
Mm.
Because it made me think, like, what was Snape doing in the dark side, on the dark side?
Yep.
Was this his skill? Was this what he did to his enemies?
Because even Sirius acknowledges that he is an incredible occlumens.
That's why he doesn't wash his hair.
It's another layer to penetrate.
It's just,
Ugh.
yeah. I didn't think of it the opposite way. That's funny.
You get slowed down. You start penetrating Snape's mind. You're like,
It's
"Ugh."
too slippery and
Yeah.
oily.
It's
interesting. Like a magical potion grease that he's.
Yeah.
Wow,
But
that's.
yeah, it made me think of what was he doing. But then it's great, like and then I sometimes go back, like, what if he's still not fully on the good side? I think he is.
I mostly think he is because everyone trusts him. But the sketchy moment that we saw here, the hidden memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so when you use it for the pensieve.
Yeah, he took memories
But-
out in case Harry saw something and then put them back in at the end. That was sketchy.
He put them back into his.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which makes me think he literally was like, I don't want Harry to see this because he doesn't know how good or bad Harry is.
Yeah, he probably doesn't want
Maybe.
Harry to see what he's done in the past.
I know. Well, yeah, whatever it is, he's
What has he
hiding
done in the
something.
past?
That much we know. He's hiding something from Harry, right?
His
sketchy.
parents, something with his parents probably, and then something that he did.
I just don't
That
like that he's hiding something. That felt so
Dumbledore-
weird.
At first, I thought he was doing it as he was putting his thoughts of him training Harry in the pensieve. Like, okay, he had this conversation. I'm going to teach you. Da, da, da. He puts it in there so that way when he's going into Harry's mind, if Voldemort can somehow intercept these thoughts, he's not seeing that Snape is teaching him
Right.
how to be better at protecting his mind.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
that's what I thought. He was taking that out and then putting it back in. Like, okay, I'm going to take this out while I'm teaching you, and who
Yeah.
cares if it's back?
Hmm.
But then it could be that too.
No, I like that better. I would way rather it be something to protect everyone, but I think it just rubbed me the wrong way a little bit where I was like, it was sketchy. Didn't love it. Huh.
What is he hiding? If you had to guess what those memories were, what would they be? So Jen, you think it's what he's done in this past and in his Death Eater life? And you said maybe
Yeah.
something with James and Lily.
Yeah.
What do you think that would be?
He like either somehow betrayed it or somehow could have saved someone, protected someone, but he didn't. Because they went to school together.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he just, when you just ignore something, it's kind of like you sided with that side. What am I trying to say? But like, if you don't do anything, it's also something.
Yeah.
When you're not trying to protect, let's say, Lily and James. Like turning a blind eye to something.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that.
And maybe he's embarrassed of that, so he just takes it out so Harry doesn't see it. What do you think it is, Danny?
Because Snape and Sirius really don't get along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hate each other.
It's just he is so perfectly positioned to be a double agent that I thought it was something with Voldemort, either in the past or in the present. I thought he just wanted to remove a conversation or two or whatever from his memories so that no matter what, Harry wouldn't know whose side he's really on. So I took it as that, even if it was long, long ago, there could be, because the fear right now is that Snape could still be the one who's loyal to Voldemort. And then everything over the past 14 years has been him infiltrating Hogwarts and waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was an agreement he made with Voldemort, he would need to hide that from Harry. Even on the off chance that Harry could actually get into his mind somehow through this.
But couldn't a Dumbledore, do that?
I don't know. We don't know if Dumbledore's great at that, pretty good or
I thought
whatever.
They said that he is, but he's too
But
busy.
Dumbledore's not the one teaching Harry how to do
Because
this.
he's too busy. I just said
Yeah.
that.
But I feel like Snape's better, and I feel like Voldemort's the best.
Well,
You're
I
thinking
feel like
Dumbledore's the best?
No. I agree. I'm just thinking maybe it's good to have Snape doing it because he's been in that world, so he kind of knows how they think.
Oh, yes,
knows how
yes.
they attack, knows what they like to do. So that would be the best person to teach you. I think Dumbledore has the same skill set, but he's too busy. And why not have someone teach that's in that mind, that knows that mindset,
Yeah.
and not the good person.
And
Good.
if he had some secret arrangement with Dumbledore and he's good, he could be hiding that from Harry because he's afraid that Voldemort could see something through Harry in his mind.
Yeah.
But I still am viewing this connection as being more one way, Harry to Voldemort, not the other way. But maybe nobody fully understands it, so he's
Yeah, but
just
the
playing
end
it
of this
safe.
chapter, I don't think. That's
By the end, you're
case
thinking it's kind of
anymore.
all directions and
Because we read that he kind of forgets some things. I forget what those lines are. In the end of this chapter, no? Or maybe I misheard it.
No, you could be right.
Maybe. I think you're right.
Harry, he Ron comes to check on him, and he's like, I don't really know what was going on. And Ron goes, oh, Hermione said that you would have a weak mind because Snape was, infiltrating your mind, so it's weaker now. So then I thought Voldemort was now able to get into his mind so much easier, and he couldn't remember certain things. I don't know if it was just that he was tired, or it kind of reminded me of what Ginny was explaining. There's periods where you can't remember what's going on. Or I'm making this up. Because I thought towards the end of it, when Ron's like checking in on him, he kind of says something like that.
Huh. I think you're right, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, maybe I'll see it when we get there.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting lines in this, but this is a longer one, where Snape is kind of explaining things, and this is kind of with your point. You don't know what side Snape is on. If you read this paragraph thinking Snape is good, you're going to read it through that lens and be like, oh yeah, obviously he's deceiving Voldemort. If you read it through the lens of he's bad, you're going to read through this and be like, oh, obviously he's deceiving Dumbledore. And he goes, only muggles talk of mind reading. The mind is not a book to be opened at will and examined at leisure. Thoughts are not etched on the inside of skulls to be perused by any invader. The mind is a complex and many-layered thing, Potter. Or at least most minds are. He smirked. It is true, however, that those who have mastered legitimacy are able to, under certain conditions, delve into the mind of their victims and to interpret their findings correctly. The Dark Lord, for instance, almost always knows when somebody is lying to him. Only those skilled at occlumency are able to shut down those feelings and memories that contradict the lie, and so can utter falsehoods in his presence without detection. So do you think he's good or bad? Do you guys still think that Snape is good?
I want to believe that, so yes.
In this moment, yeah. Yep.
But
Although his stuff...
I did have a theory back in the day on our podcast.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate win takeover.
The ultimate takeover.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
that Snape was just waiting for his moment to strike.
Mm-hmm.
But
Go ahead.
no, that's it.
If there was something that happened... So you guys are both trusting of Snape, right?
Right now,
'Cause
yeah.
I would ask a different question if you weren't. If you weren't trusting of him, I would say, what would he have to do to gain your trust? But if you guys are trusting of him, what would he have to do in order to lose your guys' trust?
I don't think it would take too much.
Yeah, you're teetering right now. So
Child torture might do it.
What?
Well, it didn't work with Umbridge.
I feel like you would trust him more.
yeah,
my
and he's
God.
like, I like this.
Well,
Harry
maybe that's
deserves
the
this.
line right after that, you know.
Danny. Oh boy.
I feel like
I
if
don't know.
Snape disappeared and like no one knew where he was and then he just reappeared like Creature did, like he was off doing something.
But Dumbledore does that all the time.
Yeah, but
It
Snape
seems.
doesn't.
Yeah, I guess you're right. He's a teacher.
Or if Harry like certain memories that come to mind, I don't know if Snape somehow, I don't know how you would know, is like taking that as information, intel, and like but how would you know he's giving it to the other
Like
side?
if he interfered. Yeah, right, true. If he gave some
Because a
of...
part of me thought he could be doing this. Dumbledore said to practice this, but then he's practicing, and now he's like, "Hey, Voldemort, I just practice on him. His mind is like mush. You can
Yeah,
enter it
seriously,
and
he's weakening
find
him.
everything."
Because that
you want
happens
right
at the
now.
end of this chapter. Harry's mind is
Yeah.
mush, and he has this other dream.
So, I think he's good, but I could see
Yeah.
it working in the favor of Lord Voldemort.
It's also a unique thing now because this might be the first time that someone can truly confirm Harry wasn't lying about any of the stuff with Cedric. So if Snape was questioning Harry up until this point, whether he was lying or not, he knows it's true now. He knows that Voldemort is back, and he knows that he killed Cedric. So this confirms all of that. And I think that that's good or bad. We don't know yet. So, yeah, I think it was like, it's just weird because if he was going to be bad, now he knows for a fact Voldemort is back and powerful. And if
But-
he's evil, he can go find him.
I was wondering too, though, like, wouldn't Snape have appeared in the graveyard?
With the other people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Voldemort explained the people that weren't there, and we still don't know which one Snape is.
Yeah.
I think he's
Yeah.
the one that left
Well,
forever. But
Jen knows. You.
Yeah, sorry. I'm still catching up, trying to figure out which one.
yeah. I also find it interesting. He can't stand Harry, and so now he has to do private
I
lessons
know.
with him, and he's like okay with that. But then I'm also like, is he actually teaching him, or is he just wearing him out?
Yeah.
Because he keeps saying try harder.
Yeah, and
Snape
he's-
tells Harry, and I'm like, how do you try harder when you
He's not
literally
being
given
helpful.
no information on
That's
how
what
to
Harry
battle
says.
it?
It's like, you're not teaching me
Yeah.
how to do it.
It's
Yeah.
like but in
do it.
sports, it's
I-
like just do it, but
Right.
you're not giving me any skills. Like,
Mm.
how am I supposed to turn my hands, or like how am I supposed to swing the bat? I don't know. Like
Yeah.
just
Do you think that he would have learned this with Dumbledore or Lupin being his teacher?
Lupin, yes. Dumbledore, I've never seen teach.
Yeah.
So
Could be
true.
terrible. Maybe that's why he's headmaster.
Lupin's
Yeah,
great.
Lupin's great.
Mm.
He would have a whole lesson and a plan.
I
Yeah.
know.
There's a moment that comes before this though, when Harry's about to leave and they take the night bus, and Sirius gives him a package and says something like, "Whenever you need me, just check this." What is in the package? Because he doesn't open it.
I thought a book.
What do you mean? How would that?
I assumed it would be like a mirror diary of some kind. Like he writes in it, and then whatever he writes would appear, like instant messenger. You know.
AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah,
man.
that then Sirius could use. But whatever's in the package, Harry should have had like years ago.
Yeah,
Like,
seriously,
what-
I know.
Just give it to him so you don't have to use the flu network and whatever
Yes.
else.
Yeah, but maybe it's something in the house. Like maybe it was in his
What?
parents' house,
Yeah, and he could only
This
get it at
item,
this point or something like
and
that.
he
yeah.
was only able to get it now.
Yeah, and that would make sense. Or
Wait,
maybe it's like
whoa,
risky.
Whoa, whoa. Why didn't Sirius go to this house from the get-go? Like, why was he hiding in all these other countries? No one can find this house.
Yeah, I know.
Good point.
I guess because he didn't know. Sirius is related to a few other people, so I don't think he knew
Mm.
if anybody else had taken control of that house. So he's related to Bellatrix, and Bellatrix is related to Narcissa Malfoy. So he didn't know maybe the Malfoys had gone in that house and like taken it
He
for them.
can't
their own.
just show up as a dog.
He probably could have. Yeah.
But we know
He should've
Lucius
just took
knows
it
his
out.
dog form though.
Yeah.
Although he maybe didn't at the time.
How did he find that out, though?
Could have been through Snape. Could have been when.
So then Snape's not good.
Oh, we don't know though.
Well,
Wait,
just
when
because
else could he
he's
have found out, though?
close with Malfoy, right? Like, he's always protecting him, so it's weird.
Oh, also, it was
Or is it a
interesting that this
cover?
is the first time
That's a good
I
cover,
imagine Snape
actually.
found out Harry could have been a Slytherin. So I was wondering if that would have changed his mindset because Snape got to see potentially that little flashback in Harry's mind to the hat saying you'd make a great Slytherin. So I was hoping that'd form a little bond between Snape and Harry where then he'd be like, oh, he's not just a Gryffindor. There's some Slytherin in him.
But now I'm thinking that Snape with the whole... Oh, you weren't saying this. This is what I was thinking
Yeah, no,
while
go
you
for
were
it.
talking.
Classic. It's been happening a bunch today.
All right, Danny. I don't care what you said. Here's what I think about this.
No, the Malfoys. You know how Snape is very close with He's always sticking up for Malfoy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And then I was like, that is a great cover. You want to be super close with your enemy. So he's going to be close with Lucius. He's going to protect Malfoy. So they have like this bond.
Right.
So that way he can get in, maybe into, like, he could be close with them playing the double agent, but is actually on the good side. Like, I have to be extra harsh on Harry because I'm covering up, you know, like you're,
I guess, but according to that logic, he's closer to Dumbledore and he's giving Harry personal lessons.
that's what I'm saying though. Like,
So,
I'm
like,
saying,
which enemy is he close to? It feels like on a surface level,
Oh.
he's close to Malfoy, sure. But if we're talking about he's getting close to his enemies, he's closer to Dumbledore than anyone else, which makes me trust him, but it also could be the setup for something terrible. And that's why I'm like, he is positioned to be a double agent either way. And we don't know. And he's hiding memories. So I'm like, man. But he should like Harry more after this because,
Yes,
first
he's
of all,
Slytherin.
spending time with people is polarizing, but like, I feel like time together does bond people in some kind of way. And he's learning the most real side of Harry. He's seeing his actual thoughts, and all the thoughts he saw, I feel like should humanize Harry in really good ways. Part Slytherin, he actually saw Voldemort and fought him and witnessed death, and even like the thing with Cho. I mean, he can't be that heartless. That's got to be a little cute for Snape, right? Like, young love. Either that or he's about to
He's
sabotage
jealous.
Harry's love life and make him not go to Hogsmeade for Valentine's Day. But
They're gonna have to meet.
he's gonna schedule it on Valentine's
you
Day.
definitely
Snape,
have
don't
to.
do it.
Imagine that.
That's where he
That's
crosses
what's
the line.
happening. Imagine.
That's what crosses
That's
the
where
line.
I
Yeah.
lose my trust in Snape.
You don't
Messing
mess with
love
that.
life.
That's where Danny's line is. Not torture.
Yeah.
It's all about the romance over here.
Yep.
Yeah. What about this? Is a side note question. What was the best story that you have asking someone out on a date?
I've hardly done that.
I was gonna say, I've never.
Or
And
being asked out on a date? What
When
was
I
the
have
coolest
done it,
thing?
didn't go well.
Really?
I mean, it was through text too. So.
God.
Oh wait, one time went well, one time didn't. Getting asked out on a date. It's mostly through texts.
I was thinking of like, isn't there something with prom or something? Guys have to do
Yeah.
some big old.
Yeah.
I didn't
Signs
go to prom,
and
so I don't
whatever.
know.
You asked the guy.
You just
My
said
friend.
you didn't.
I forgot about. But it wasn't a date.
Mm.
No, it was a friend from.
You go with the
Dad's.
friend. It's just like, let's go.
Yeah, it was last minute, literally. I think like a week before. I was like, "Do you want to go to my prom with me? I have nobody."
I didn't even go to
It's
prom,
the story
so
of my life.
Oof.
You didn't have a prom?
I did. I just didn't go.
You were too cool.
Yeah. There was the junior and senior. I went to neither.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
They were fun.
I might have already told the story. I don't remember. Or maybe I just told you guys at some point where I was out in Chicago visiting some friends and we hung out this whole weekend, a whole group of friends. And then there's one girl, Taylor. And then at the end, she was driving me to the airport. And we were like halfway to the airport. And I was like, oh man, I feel like a missed opportunity because when am I going to get back out here? And I was like, all right, call me crazy. We were getting gas or something. And I was like, what if we turn around right now and I take you on a date tonight? And so we did. We turned around, and it was a bold move with an awkward 20 minutes left in that
Wow.
drive. But it worked out because then we went back, went on a date. It was a cool date. I had to borrow my friend's motorcycle to go on the date, which was a nice touch for a date. But nearly
went on
dropped
the
to the bike. Yeah, she was on the back of the bike. And we get into this parking lot, and I was less familiar with the bike. And there was a moment I felt it start to tip, and you feel when it goes past the balance point. And I planted my foot so hard and mustered every bit of strength in me to pull it back up. It didn't go down, thankfully.
Like while you were both on it?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
that would have been so bad. But it worked out. It was good.
Saved the day.
And it was like a whole thing because we did went to a nice Thai restaurant, and then she liked scary movies. It was Halloween weekend or something, and we watched
Pretty good.
Nightmare
I
on
like
Elm
scary
Street.
movies.
Oh, I
Ooh.
saw that movie.
That's
And-
a scary movie. That's like you have to watch those movies on a date because you're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
so scared. Let's
Right, exactly, perft. And
I
she,
think I actually did with that movie.
oh my goodness,
It wasn't a date.
Was it
wasn't
you?
a date, it was-
and that was me and Kristen
Taylor.
Taylor's
I was
date.
in Florida. He was in
Kristen
Chicago.
Taylor.
No.
That is hilarious.
Sorry, that
And
just like triggered a memory.
She had kind of made it sound like, oh yeah, scary movies are so lame, whatever. I want to be more scared, whatever. Wes Craven wrote Nightmare on Elm Street. He grew up in the town we were in. So I had already done some digging ahead of time because I just wanted to go to Elm Street, the street that Wes Craven grew up on, because there's a cemetery behind his house that inspired all of his like horror movie writing. So we
my
went to
goodness.
that cemetery and walked around at midnight.
boy.
And we held
Holy
hands. It was great. It
smokes.
was a lot of fun.
I would
Did you lean in for the
never-
kiss?
No kiss,
90,
and went
10,
home and never went on another
90%,
date.
10.
But it was a good time.
That is a
you know?
great.
That is
great
good.
Part of my
story
love
a
of
date.
plants came from that weekend.
Really?
She was huge into plants. Yep,
Plants.
plants.
I thought you
thought
said
you said
plants.
And she made
Yeah.
them sound very
Like, what?
accessible. So then when I got home, I'm like, I could do a succulent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe it didn't work out, you know, but at least I got some plant love out of it.
Aw.
I was set on a path. Not the
I
same
love
as
that.
John,
I know.
but a similar path.
Yeah, I got. You can't really see on the stream, but the whole wall over there, the windows are just lined with plants. Got some good ones, and there's a
So
massive one
epic.
over here. I don't know. Can you see that on the stream?
that I only
No.
just noticed.
Yeah.
It's the size of the wall.
Hmm.
Any other date stories? Any other good ones? Juicy date stories.
They're usually bad.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, there's a good one thrown in there.
I did have one. Well, no, but it's you're asking like asking out. It's never like a good ask out.
Yeah.
It's always, but there's good dates.
Yeah.
But that's not answering your question.
No, that's
so.
right. Jen, you can answer it however you want. Just talk to us about your dating life, everything.
Yeah, I'll share with the world all my fails.
Secret.
I hit the one thing for me. I asked 2 people out, and I think I've told this story before with both of these people on the podcast. With the one girl I played tennis with,
Yeah.
when I asked her out initially on a date, I like saw it in her face. She was like not wanting to do it. So that's why we did like tennis in like the public, and because she was into it, and I was like, I'm not gonna like, do anything crazy. And then she
You're not
texted
gonna
me
do
and she's like,
anything
I'm sorry, I'm
crazy?
not into this, and I was fine. Huh?
Like you're not gonna make a move on her? Is that what you mean
Yeah,
by
like
crazy?
not do like dinner. Like dinner's a more romantic date. Let's just go play tennis.
Right.
Is that what
Right.
people, guys, are you guys like into like the dinner date as the first date, or is
No.
it more like a coffee
gotta be, like,
walk
casual.
and like?
And something without
Yeah.
a defined end.
Yeah.
If dinner goes bad, there's no escape. You know what I mean? Like you want
Yeah.
the person to feel comfortable. They're not trapped. They can leave whenever they want.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you meet at the place.
Yeah. So
Could be.
No
yeah.
picking up.
That's a
Yeah.
nice, safe way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the girls, never be picked up.
Yeah.
Note
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That's not a smart move for anyone.
Or if you meet at a mall and then you walk up to your date and they're dancing, waiting for
Wait,
you.
dancing?
And then you realize they don't have music in their ears. They're just dancing to their own
Happy
beat.
with
I don't understand why you didn't just turn around and walk away.
'Cause I
that
couldn't.
still blows my mind.
It depends how
hope
good the
so.
dance moves were, to be honest.
They're like robot dance. And
I'm like, was there at least music in the mall
Then I was like,
playing?
you don't really look like your pictures either.
Oh.
But I'll still
Catfish.
go on the date with you
Yeah. Why? Just
for 2
walk
hours
away.
walking around the mall.
That's like.
It was like
Ugh.
entertaining enough, but like not romantic at all.
Doesn't sound like it.
No. There was a romantic one on the beach. That was different.
Oh.
That was nice.
uh,
Went on the
Long walk on
lifeguard
the beach.
chair at night, and then you see the stars.
wow.
That was good. Ice
Like a
cream.
rom-com.
Let's go sit over there to eat the ice cream. Yeah. That was a good one.
It's a good date.
Hmm.
Back to Harry Potter.
Cho
No
made the first
transition,
move. Yeah.
No good transition for that one.
Yeah,
Harry's
Cho
little,
made the first move.
Yeah, Harry's a little dull.
Yeah.
But they're cute. They're a weird couple, but they're kind of cute.
Are
Would
they
you-
a couple yet?
Yeah, they're not really a couple yet. They're kind of just dating, I guess.
Hmm.
Would you rather be an occlumency, or would you rather be good at occlumency or be good at legilimency?
Wait.
Occlumency is the shutting out of your mind.
Yeah.
I want to
People
read
reading it?
people's minds.
Or would you rather be a good legilimens, which is reading people's minds?
Actually, you don't want to know what people
Yeah,
are
block.
thinking.
Yeah, I would rather block people out.
It's
Get
like
another-
what women,
There's
what
enough going on
women
here.
want. That's all I think of Mel Gibson, right? What women
What
want.
Yeah.
You guys would die if you heard our thoughts, or maybe you would love it, or maybe it would help you.
I used to, whenever people ask me like what superpower you want, I used to think, oh, reading minds would be cool. Now I'm like, no chance I would ever want that. I don't think someone could give that to me. I don't think I would want that.
So you would like ocular.
I think
To
I'd do
protect
occlumency.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, closing off my mind. That's what I already do. I already practice it.
He's already perfected
I'm
it.
glad I was gonna say that, but you said it for yourself.
Yeah, I don't wanna
so
read
it's
minds.
less rude.
It'd be great.
We're all occlumency people.
Well, yeah. Did you answer?
I'd read minds.
You would
Oh,
want
really?
to read minds.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm a little bit skeptical in general. So maybe I tend to. It sounds bad to say I
A
assume the
little?
worst of people because taken out of context, that's not actually how it is. Because I think highly of people. I give people the benefit of the doubt, but I always entertain the idea of the worst as well. So I feel like reading people's minds, it would be a harsh first month or two. And then after that adjustment to like, oh, wow, people have some weird thoughts. Then I feel like I'd get used to it and I would like that. but I'd have to shut it off. Just like
Yeah.
About Time.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have to kind of reach that place where I would say, some situations it's okay, some it's not. And if I was really comfortable, eventually maybe I would just say I'm never
Yeah.
going to read minds. Or I would do it just for entertaining. Like I'd make a rule for myself, like only read minds of people I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like it'd be fun.
Yeah. Could be for a little bit. Could be the worst.
Get
thing that ever
really
happened.
good at poker.
Yeah. Could
Yeah,
get
but
really
what
good
if you
at
had
poker.
a
Yeah, seriously.
crush?
Yeah, you could get
Make so much money.
Yeah, you could make
Oh
so much
my
money out of that. Oh my
gosh.
goodness. Oh my goodness. It'd be great.
I was thinking of your romantic life. You could be like, does she actually like me?
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah.
Mm.
You
That'd be
I can
dangerous.
ask
That would
her
be
out.
against the rules, though.
Yeah.
Because then how
Why?
the relationship would never have to have healthy communication.
Yeah.
It'd become one-sided.
So good. Such a great point. And you get. I feel like you might get. You generally you can tell if someone wants to go out with you or not. The only situation that I was wrong and that I think I even told you guys about was I was talking to someone and I asked them out on a date. Like they left. I was in a library. They left the library. I ran after them and was like, "Hey, Laura, do you want to go on a date?" And she looked at me and she seemed genuinely interested. She's like, "Oh, like yeah, that'd be cool." And then she gave me her email address. I was like, I was like, "Hey, what's your number?" And she's like, "Oh, can I give you my email address instead?" At that point, I'm like, no chance she's interested in me. But I found out years later, literally years later, that she was so mad that I never emailed. I did email her, but we never like had a long conversation. I was like, she doesn't like me, so I like
Right.
backed away. One of my friends told me she was so bummed that I didn't actually take
Did
her
your
on a
friend
date 'cause
explain?
She really liked me.
Did she like forget her own number or something?
Well, no, I don't. She didn't
'Cause that's
explain
so
that thing.
weird.
Yeah, that's
I know.
what you need
I
to
I
don't
still
find
want to know
out.
why. Laura, come
know.
on.
Laura,
if you're
so many questions. But like, why didn't she come
Why?
up to you in person then after that?
So it was weird. We were still like around each other after that, and then in my head, she never liked me, and she was the one that kind of backed away. And in her head, I was the one that did that. So sometimes she would come up to me and she would say something like, she said this to me once. She came up to me. She's like, "Hey, just so you know, like, I don't like blame you for anything that like happened or between us or anything like that." And in my head, I'm thinking, I don't know what the heck is going on.
Yeah, well,
Can you
like,
please
what do you
explain?
mean?
Yeah.
Just
But I'm
be
like,
blunt
oh,
and explain what
because
you
I
mean.
was the one that kind of stopped emailing her maybe a little bit. Maybe she just wanted to go out, but I'm like, clearly she still wasn't interested at all. But apparently she was, and I was just completely way off on that. And she was saying, "I don't blame you, like that you backed off and that you weren't
Because
interested
I was
anymore."
cold.
I know, because I was cold, exactly.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad. So I found that out later, and I haven't told her, talked to her in a few years, but I felt so bad.
You should just asked her out on the email.
Still can.
I know, yeah.
More to come next week on John's Love Live.
All right, this podcast is taking a very different turn from what I wanted to take.
Yeah.
Guys,
I like
we just
it.
want to talk about Harry Potter. It's all
Ah,
about
yes,
Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's only about
right.
Tell me about your dating life, guys, and then as soon as it goes to mine. Okay, back to Harry Potter.
Occlumency.
All right, so here's the thing. Why is Snape not comfortable saying Voldemort?
Yeah.
That is weird to me. And it actually made me think there's more to this. Well, why is Dumbledore totally down and Snape, along with everyone else, not down? Makes me think there's actually power in fear. Maybe?
Or
But in
his
speaking
name?
his name, why? Urgh. Yeah, I don't get it because does it summon him?
What do you mean by power and fear?
I was just thinking, like, is that where Voldemort's power is coming from? Because we were talking at the beginning of, like
Santa
Like,
Claus.
if he kills
like
somebody.
literally power.
like literal
or, like,
power. Yeah, like if he kills someone, he could maybe gain their power. But is the power from absorbing their essence or something? I don't know. Or is the power from all of the people who witnessed or hear about that death now fear him, and that gives him an actual tangible power? Or a general idea of power. What?
I don't know why you're saying that. It just made me think of Elf and Santa Claus.
you
You
said
have
Santa
to
Claus.
believe. You have to believe that he
Oh,
can
wow,
fly
yes.
his sleigh and the reindeer
Right.
move. So now I'm thinking it's the opposite. You have to have fear so I can have power.
Right. And it also, like John mentioned, Monsters Inc. the other day, how
Yeah.
it's good and bad. And it's a similar dynamic, but like, is the fear something? But then that wouldn't make sense because not saying his name would give him more power than saying his name then.
Yeah.
Because, well, maybe that's the difference. Maybe Dumbledore knows, or he's saying, look, if we don't say his name, that's going to give him power. And Snape is like
so
thinking, well, let's just play it safe and
Sorry,
just
I'm
not.
over here singing "Say My Name." Say my name. Say my
Dumbledore's doing.
I thought you were on the Christmas thing.
Say his name. Say his name. When no one is around.
Wow, that is
Yeah, keep going.
a
Come on,
parody
guys.
video waiting to happen. And if we're making parody videos, we also have to do, what's the thing Sirius was singing?
boy.
God rest ye
Oh, yeah,
merry
hippogriffs.
hippogriffs. I feel like we could write that song. That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Finish it.
That's your job.
And go to our YouTube channel to watch us.
So this is another line in it. So we'll kind of go back to that in a sec. But it goes, Snape's talking to Harry. Then you will find yourself easy prey for the Dark Lord, says Snape savagely. Fools who wear their hearts proudly on their sleeves, who cannot control their emotions, who wallow in sad memories, and allow themselves to be provoked so easily. Weak people, in other words, stand no chance against his powers. He will penetrate your mind with absurd ease, Potter. Do you think that you would be good at controlling your emotions like this? Or are you?
I would like to say yes, but I feel like
Take a lot
no.
of practice.
Hmm.
I struggle at work controlling my emotions of anger, so.
And sometimes it's situational. Like at work, it's hard, but sometimes in your family or friends, it's easier, you know.
It's also taking a different perspective. That's what I've tried to always look at, like where the other person is coming from. Obviously, it's like people are gonna get wow, the book is gonna get under are going to get under your skin. But it's like if you look at it through the perspective of everybody's going through something, and there's a reason why, like people annoying you, if they're doing it on purpose, they're deflecting from something in their life. So it's like I always try to look at that perspective. There's something else going on, and through that can help kind of tame your own emotions.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, but that right, it's practice.
That's
It takes
hard.
a lot. Yeah,
That's why they're usually old in this book. The ones
right.
that
But
are
like Snape
calm.
is annoying. I don't
Yeah.
like that he said that's weakness.
I think he was trying to stir up emotion in him though before he's practicing,
Mm.
because he's like, all this stuff you're doing now, do the opposite.
Yeah.
You know
it's
how
actually
you're
a really
getting
good point,
angry
yeah.
at me, and you know how everything I'm saying is triggering you, but I want you to learn how to like turn that emotion off.
And maybe this is like the Mr. Miyagi kind of approach. Like he's teaching him, he's riling these things up, but he's not communicating any of this stuff to Harry so that Harry gets his emotions riled up, and then he just learn this muscle memory to do it. That's a good point.
But how can you think of nothing? That's what I didn't understand. Like, just
Clear the
clear
mind.
your
Yeah.
mind. Like, I don't know how you do that.
I can't.
I need to conceive, and then I
Yeah,
can
Well,
do
me
it.
and Danny are like, no, that's easy. There's
I'm not
like-
thinking of anything right now.
There's a funny like
Yeah,
meme or
men.
TikTok that went on a few months ago where like females don't understand at all how guys can just be like not thinking about anything. Sometimes I think about nothing all the time.
I have
I mean,
no
I'm
idea.
like
I would
an overthinker.
love
I
that.
overthink everything and I think through things a lot. But
Yep.
there are times when I can kind of just turn it off, or not like willingly turn it off. But there are times when like I'm driving and I'm not thinking about anything. And
There's
I
a
just, like,
list that just fills as like I can like, okay, that memory
else can
doesn't
I
need
worry
to go,
about?
and then vroom, something else. Vroom.
Yeah.
So true.
Shotgun Wedding. If anyone watched that,
Oh my God.
what's her name? Jennifer Coolidge. When she's like, I am a mother. I can worry about multiple things at once. She says it multiple times in the movie. It's my favorite line because it's so true for women.
Yeah, apparently.
But Snape is a really interesting character in this whole section. We talked about why he's hiding his memories. Any other theories on that?
Snape hiding his memories.
He doesn't necessarily hide them, but he removes them and then he puts them in the pencil.
But then I was thinking, why can't Harry do that before he goes to bed?
What do you mean?
Like
Clear his mind
clear
physically?
his mind, put it in the
Give
pensieve.
him a pensieve. Yeah.
He can sleep. Then his mind is clear.
It's dangerous. Just
Then
sticking
he
your
can
memories
wake up.
out there on the
Emptied all of
bedside.
his memories and he woke up
That
and
would
didn't know
be
what to do.
Yeah, right,
He
right.
didn't know where
Why
they
am I
were.
awake
He's like,
right
I have
now?
nothing in my mind.
Well, it just
that's
seems like
perfect.
dangerous.
No one's getting in there. There's nothing in there. And then maybe the pensieve is locked up in the mystery.
Like a mega
Magic,
pensieve.
isn't it?
Yeah, What is the thing that
Ma-
the weapon?
Is it Mystery of Magic? I was saying it.
Yeah, I
backwards.
think
No,
so.
the in the Ministry of Magic, in the Department of Mysteries,
Department of Mysteries.
Yeah,
I
what
said
is in
Mystery
there?
of Magic.
it could be a massive.
It is a
Pensieve.
Pensieve.
That would be kind of neat, actually.
That would
all
be
the
very powerful.
all yeah
Whose memories would be in there? Just everyone's collectively.
I guess
head
who's
guys. Like I
like
don't know.
anytime they clear a Muggle's mind, they collect it in a little thing and they open it
Why
in.
would the Muggle matter though?
Well, it's just like a perspective on the world, like an event that happened. But like you could
No.
do that with anyone.
I'm thinking.
Maybe it happened to all wizards at some point.
I'm thinking all those ancient, powerful
Hmm.
wizards with the ancient magic.
Like before they die, it's like
Yeah,
it's
like
about to
a
be my
cremation,
time.
but it's like a pen. Yeah,
And if someone dies, can you still collect their memories, or it has to be while they're alive?
I don't know.
Because if they could die, then you could collect everyone's dead memories and put them somewhere. That would be very powerful.
Mm.
But if it
Or
has
is
to be while they're
ancient
alive, it's
magic
different.
in that
In what?
corridor.
Ancient magic?
Yeah,
Like what?
Something that-
Something ancient magic.
that like reveals more ancient magic, like a genie in a bottle.
You gotta rub it
Like,
the right
it's
way.
ancient magic, and it reveals more
Yep.
ancient magic.
Like, keep going, I guess. I'm like, then what happens? Huh? I just
just learn
can't. I can't
more
picture it. How would that
spells.
work? Well, I'm thinking maybe real powerful wizards. It's like writing their memoir. They're like, hey, I'm not gonna write it all down, but you know what? Before I die, I'm feeling it. I'm about to
But,
go. Take
okay.
my memories and jar them up
But
somewhere.
what if there was another like
Jar 'em up.
Lord Voldemort? There had to have been one before him. Like history repeats itself.
Oh, like Grindelwald, and
I don't know.
that was
You
only in
guys know
Dumbledore's
names,
lifetime.
I
What
don't.
about before that? Yeah, you're right. There's probably tons of dark wizards over the years.
Maybe
Salazar
he's the
Slytherin
most
himself?
powerful, but
Was he
like
dark?
he could have. Well, he didn't like Muggles.
True.
Pure blood only. Maybe there's something with that too. Maybe Lord Voldemort wants to get rid of his Muggle side, and this corridor of mysteries will help get rid of the Muggle side. So
Wait,
he
how
can
do you
be
do that?
pure. I don't know. It's in the mystery.
Oh, that it's still a mystery. It's
Yeah.
not solved yet. That's why it's still behind the door.
It's in the ancient magic
ancient
genie
magic
bottle.
gun.
Ah,
in
yes.
the corridor that's locked up in the Ministry of
like
Magic's
a-
mysteries section.
Massive
Sure.
game of Clue. It was Voldemort in the Ministry of Magic with the wand.
That Danny made.
Yeah. With the plant on.
With the plant.
what's
Yep.
his face's thing.
Venus mousetrap.
At the end of this chapter, last question.
Hmm.
Why is Voldemort so happy?
Danny answered that already.
To me, it was he got his weapon. But what if it wasn't that, Jen? Then what would it be?
I'm wondering, well, he felt the joy and then he couldn't remember stuff. So then I wondered if Voldemort was able to enter Harry's mind and maybe he was joyful because of that. Like, okay, it works backwards now. Like, you kept coming into my mind. Now I've learned how to get into yours. I do think it could be the weapon, though. but
Yeah.
I'm trying
No,
to
you're
have
right. It could be
another
that.
perspective.
At first, I thought Snape was trying to do this thing with Harry all as a guise to just read Voldemort's mind through Harry. Like, if Snape could go through Harry to get to Voldemort, that might be a way that Snape could try his best to, like, read his mind. But I don't think it worked. And I don't know how that would lead to Voldemort being happy, joyful.
I feel like, yeah, it can only be like a couple of things. Well, no, there could be a list of things. But
Yeah, still don't know what the weapon is, assuming he found the weapon. but
or
if he
could it
didn't-
be that Arthur Weasley is alive, but has something in him that will evolve or attack later on, and he'll
he's-
be with the whole order,
Right.
and then he like explodes or something and
You
kills
have
everyone.
to sleep in order to for it to be activated or something.
Whoa, nice.
Maybe guard duty is sleeping there. You're like transferring something, you know?
What?
Because he was on sleep. He was sleeping during guard duty.
Oh,
So maybe he was there sleeping on purpose, and it wasn't like accidentally falling asleep.
oh,
But we'll figure it out.
what, like a mind
Yeah.
game?
All right. Any last questions before we go to the wrap up questions?
Well, I was curious why Ron and Harry were talking that Sturgis was trying to break in. In my mind, I'm like, if he's breaking in, then he's bad.
Yeah.
Or he was just on guard duty and the Ministry caught him for breaking in, and that's what they threw the book at him for. Also, the Weasley twins are awesome. Invisibility?
I know.
Like, sure, this is just their head now, but being able to do invisibility like this, they're going to crush it. They're going to be making invisibility cloaks in no time, because this is like not that far off from
Or a
that.
pill.
That'd be even next level. But like, this is seriously advanced stuff, so I want them to keep honing that skill.
You're cute.
Radiator.
That's my
nice.
heat. Sorry. Yeah.
I was like, what
Yeah.
is that?
It's
It's old
your
radiator heat. It's steam coming out of the
It's
thing.
like the thing from Home Alone in the basement.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Except I have that in my basement. All right, wrap up. Wait. Sorry, I didn't pay attention to it.
No, that was it.
See? It's a theme. Poor
That was
Danny.
it. I just thought
Danny.
Harry was being
Sorry,
mean again.
Danny.
He was going to throw, speaking of being mean to your friends, he was going to throw Hermione's book in the fire.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I know,
Harry,
yeah.
come on.
Jerk move.
Oh, also speaking of being mean, Sirius called Snape a name, and it just brought me back to his high school days. I'm like, he definitely bullied Snape with this
Yeah.
name all the time, and I felt bad for
What do you
Snape.
call him?
Snivellus,
Yeah, Snivellus. Yeah.
which is a pretty funny name. It kind of works, and it would be totally annoying
Yeah,
if someone
yeah,
called
yeah.
me that. It's like just to play enough on his name.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Can't
Favorite character? Actually, before that, answer one quick question for you guys.
It's going to be something we can't answer.
It's your favorite question of all time.
I
Jen.
know.
What would you say are the major themes of this book
God.
and then of the entire series?
Danny
right
can answer this.
now? Like, what is the theme of this book?
Hmm.
Or some of the major ones?
I feel like it's kind of like perseverance through like difficult
Yeah.
situations. Controlling your emotions.
Mm.
It is interesting because he acts up in the beginning, right? He's literally, his emotions are everywhere.
Yep.
And now he's taking classes how to control this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. And he's got to persevere through it because he's not very good at it to begin with.
Yeah, emotions,
There's also
dealing
s-
with grief.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also some trust.
Hmm.
It's like, who are you going to place your trust in?
Mm.
And if you're going to place trust in somebody, are you actually going to trust them? Like with Dumbledore and,
Hmm.
you know, since he's not really talking to him.
What is the theme of the entire series so far? What would you say?
Good versus evil.
Maybe friendship.
Lame. Friendship.
That's a tough one. Because I feel like it depends where it goes from here.
Yeah.
A lot's been set up.
Yeah. We'll see. Keep thinking about that. Maybe I'll pop that in another part. Favorite moment in these chapters? Favorite character? Who wins the House Cup? And the Hot Tamale Award.
I'm going to keep counting silently until you answer first.
Yay! Thank you.
Sounds like it's raining.
I do like the fact, like we get some answers with Harry. Like I love how Dumbledore is asking Harry all the questions, and we're kind of understanding the relationship between Lord Voldemort and
Mm-hmm.
Harry, and why he is, you know, like the mind reading and possession thing. I feel like I liked getting some of those answers.
Yep. You're getting the good information, Jen.
I know, like my intel. Favorite character. I like Ginny when she was saying that. Like, why didn't you ask
Yeah.
me? I went through this. And then Sirius Black when he was so happy that they were like
That's cute.
home for Christmas. I thought that was really sweet. And he was actually like happy to have people around.
That's really cute.
Um,
And then when they were leaving, it was like, I think she wrote like it seeped through under the doors like some gas or something like that. Or something
What?
Like, yeah, when he goes back into his depressed mood, it was like infiltrating the whole house. People were getting sadder because he was getting
Yep.
sadder and depressed.
mm. And then what am I missing?
Hot tamale? Did
Yeah. Who was your favorite character in the Hot Tamale? Yeah. Because you mentioned a few moments. You mentioned all of our moments, Jen.
Well, finally,
I was
I
gonna
got
say-
the first say. Does that sound like umbrage?
Yeah.
Oh.
Favorite character in Hot Tamale?
Harry, probably. I think that he's just like maturing or like learning little by little how to open up to his friends and trust them. Maybe. The Hot Tamale. Jenny.
Ginny is crushing it.
She's like spicy. I like
I
her.
know.
Yeah, she is.
So.
yes.
Now everyone else's turn.
Now Jen's good. We're all good to answer now.
Danny usually takes all of them. So
I feel like you guys already know what I'm going to say. Who's my favorite character?
Neville.
Yes.
And his favorite
These are-
moment was
yes.
with the parents.
Yep.
I forgot about that. And the gum wrapper was your ultimate favorite. And then we should do this for each other.
Nice.
This is like, I've said I'm a Neville fan from the beginning of this book, and you guys probably haven't understood why. And this is
No.
kind of. one
And
of
then
the
you
major
brought
reasons
up
why.
that he was really good at herbology, and we
Yeah.
never got that insight until like book 4.
Yeah, I know.
And you're like, he's so good. I'm like, how do we know this?
I know. Little accidental
It
slip
doesn't
right there.
matter anyway.
But I think it's such a good moment. It's one of those moments that just makes me tear up every single time I read it. It's just such a beautiful moment with him and his family and his true bravery and courage. It's quiet strength, and I love that. I want to give it to Ginny for the Hot Tamale Award too. She is a hot tamale.
I thought you give it to the snake.
I'm gonna give it to Ron. For
Wait,
the perfume.
For what?
For giving
perfume.
some perfume.
Love potion.
Ron's a hot tamale right now.
Potion number 9.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Ron.
I'm gonna give it to Cho. Hot tamale at least.
Give it to Joe.
Sorry, Kristen. I did it
You're
again.
supposed to go last.
That was such a good streak.
You're doing so good. You get points. Gryffindor points.
Hufflepuff, excuse me.
No, I'm saying Gryffindor, but because they're mine.
You're looking at me. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
like
Ravenclaw.
you're giving me. Okay, yeah.
I'm giving you Gryffindor points,
Well, thank you.
which means nothing to you.
Who's your House Cup winner?
I think I'm gonna give it to Hermione for breaking through the defenses at the house.
Yeah.
And Harry's shutting everyone out.
Oh yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah, that was good.
She was awesome in that part. Naturally, my favorite part was the Christmas section, where Sirius was just a mad decorator.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah.
I wish that was a few pages longer.
Yeah.
The Christmas morning
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and then Cho.
'Cause-
The hot tamale.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy? Like those chapters, you just kind of want to linger in those. Like you want plot, but
Yeah,
at the same
yeah.
point, you just want her to just keep writing. This is the longest book, and you're asking for more pages to it. You guys are
So
Potterheads.
true.
Full on Potterheads, though.
You are.
You said that.
Come on, Jen.
I listen. So it's a little-
That's your thing. Oh man, favorite moment is tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones in this. A lot of bad ones in this too.
I feel like for me, there were moments in the hospital with Neville. I think that stood out, and also everything at the very beginning of this chunk in Hogwarts with Dumbledore. A few answers, whirlwind to Grimmauld Place. The suspense of that I loved. I felt like that was like a peak, and then everything else was kind of coming down from that. So, yeah, I'll say, St. Mungo's with Neville and the Long Bottoms. House Cup winner, Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had some ups and downs, but it was legit. And Hot Tamale Cho.
Hot tamale Cho.
Making the moves.
You
Sure does
like
make moves.
females that make moves, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'll give hot tamale to a guy at some point, but not yet. No guy has been worthy, except maybe Ron this time.
I know. I'm giving us Ron. He might be is he the first guy recipient? I think we've always
Hmm.
given them to women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or Ron.
A hot tamale.
A hot tamale.
If Snape was a
It
little
just
nicer, he
started,
could have been the
though.
hot tamale.
Yeah.
If
Snape.
Voldemort was,
Well, he's bound to get one at some
Well, if he's
point.
gonna win.
He's
You're
gonna
gonna,
get
give
one
it to
sometime,
him.
yeah.
That'll
We'll
come from
see.
Jen.
that's why I was like, he should the snake should have been hot tamale.
Ooh.
Those fangs. Ugh.
All right. On
Back
that
to
note, thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the first time readers.
See ya.
All right, bathroom.
What a good ending. Oh. Also, I think Monday's podcast is so good. I was cracking up like 20 different times when we were doing it, but I threw the little ad read that we did in the beginning of the podcast.
The what?
We did a little ad read.
I don't remember.
We were talking
Anything.
about socks. We were like talking about the house elves. It was such a funny conversation, and I just threw it at the beginning. It was so good.
Nice. That's our
I
intro.
don't remember.
No, that's like so
Maybe.
whenever we have the intro, we do like the introduction to the podcast, and then I'll usually
And
talk.
so you threw
instead
that.
I just
in
threw
there.
that in there 'cause I'm sick of talking. Follow us on.
I can't
social
believe you
media
didn't. Don't you
and-
have it like recorded right and just like add it in?
I do it new every single time,
I know, but that's
so it's
a
really
lot.
easy.
Oh,
I'd rather do that. I'd rather do that. To be
then
honest, than
copy.
take another
paste.
clip from
Oh.
somewhere else,
Is that easier?
drag it in. Yeah, it's not that easier. It's really not easier, but it's
It's
just
just his
like
own
I'm
thing.
in front and I'm like,
Use the same thing
might
every
as well.
time, though, right? Like,
no, that's boring. I don't want to listen to the same
This
thing every
is a
time.
him issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I fast
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everyone just fast forward through that anyway.
It's just me because I only listen to 10 minutes of our podcast and then I turn it off.
I haven't listened.
I only do the
Wow.
intro because they are entertaining.
It is weird to like hear your own voice, but,
But
you guys,
I do get if I'm listening to it, I can.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You're
do
living it.
listen to it.
Yeah.
Like if I.
It's good to
Wow.
re-listen because I zone out at times.
It's any podcast. Our podcast is like 2.5 hours almost each episode, like 2 to 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
If you're not zoning out during some part of it, that's impressive.
But I like to do my whispers and then I love for you guys to be like, "You said this."
Yeah, those are great moments. I always try to like increase the wavelength on your whispers.
Yeah.
Because sometimes your whispers are so faint. I'm like, what did you say? And then I'll raise it up and I hear it. Makes me die. They're
She
so
was
good.
making fun of me the whole time.
Yeah, I know. And I notice the things that you guys laugh at that you'll be
Miss.
like, oh, you'll hear this when you're editing. And I hear it
Was
when
that-
I'm editing. And
Was that moment with the cow?
The
Yeah,
cow,
yep.
maybe.
Was that it when we were like, you'll
Yeah,
hear
that
it?
was one of those,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I was trying to
You're
remember.
Well, that's because he's sucked into his Harry Potter world
I know.
with the
Thanks for,
listeners, which
yeah.
is great.
You guys are the best. Thanks for
But-
watching, everyone. Some of you guys are leaving, so
It's funny.
you guys are the best. On his nose over there.
That was a very loud honk.
Oh, and I don't even think anything of it because that's what I sound like. Sorry.
We all were impressed by your nose blowing.
Oh, thank you. That was pretty loud.
It was
Got
like
that from my father.
His eyes from his mom, his blowing nose habits from his dad.
When I was teaching dance one time, I blew my nose and one of the kids goes, "You sound like my dad."
Thanks for that, yeah.
oh man.
Well done, guys. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us. Have a great day. We'll see you guys later.
Where's
Wow, 1 o'clock.
our yoga
1
break?
o'clock. That's wild.
Yoga break. Gosh.
Stretch my legs. What are the next 3 chapters? Can I look at their title?
Mm-hmm.
What? Duolingo?
Gotta keep my streak going.
Oh,
I did mine this morning.
Hey, you're doing French?
I wonder if I'm still number
What are you
1.
learning, Danny?
Spanish.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn time.
What?
Just started.
Oh,
I feel like
oh, that sounded very profound.